Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Matt Murray.
Hello.
James Farley.
Hey.
But no Sean Bell. He's called in sick. So it's just a three-man show this week.
Yeah.
We're excited.
I am. I mean, I'm a bit worried for Sean. He's like,
Why?
just a few weeks ago, he was hosting, he was flying high, he won Employee of the Year, then obviously, you came back, so he lost hosting, and then also we sort of moved around who was doing news and stuff, and so he wasn't. I mean like emails and this and that, and I think he might have lost another responsibility.
You reckon he peaked?
Well, and then people stopped emailing in, and so he wasn't doing emails.
That's a good point.
And now he's not here, so I'm just worried.
Are you suggesting that he might have phoned in sick and he's not legitimately sick?
I just think he's probably thinking, just for 4 weeks ago, he's on top of the world, and now people don't even send emails. So it's fine. I mean,
Matt,
we love you, Sean. Come home.
What's it like phoning in sick at work for you? Is it really bad?
I don't really ring it. I don't really call in sick. But
what do you mean?
Well, I don't like to do it, and unless I'm on death's door.
No, I don't like to do it either. But when you do, is it like a really horrible experience?
No, I just text my manager on WhatsApp saying I'm ill.
You just text him on WhatsApp?
Well, I just put it in the group and say I can't come in today, or I'll work from home.
That's mental. I'd love that.
Well, what do you have to do?
The same,
just
right?
send a fax.
No, I'm the same, right? I hate being off from work. Genuinely, I hate being off from work. It fills me with anxiety. My work doesn't get done while I'm off. I hate it, right? But no, there's a rule. You have to phone in every day that you're not coming in. And it's all dependent on which boss that you get through to, what sort of experience you get at the end of it. And
you don't just talk to your line manager.
Myself up. I'm thinking, well, we don't have line manager. Not in my position. I'm high enough now to just speak to the owner of the business. That's always been the case. You have to call one of the owners or whatever. But it's like you proper work yourself up to it, and you're like, am I putting this on a bit because I shouldn't be, because I am legitimately ill, and if I've got a sore throat, does that sound really bad? It's just awful. What about you, James?
Well, see, I'm not exactly the same as Matt, because my line manager doesn't do WhatsApp and stuff, but I send a text message, and that's it.
That's it. I can't imagine having like my boss or whatever on WhatsApp. It's just bizarre. I mean, obviously, that's fine. I'm not digging you out for it, but it's just like, it's such a different working environment. Did you have to phone in, James?
No, don't have to do that, no.
So what do you do? How do you let them know? What, you just
I just send a text message to my line manager. Yeah.
A text?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I've worked in companies before where you have to call in. It is always horrible, because it is like, you do have that thing of like, should I sound sick, like you said, but...
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah. And then like, if you go on Facebook during the day, like, while you're off ill, because you've got nothing else to do, and you're kind of like, I won't post that now, because they might think, oh, you're on Facebook, you're well enough to come into work, like, and it's like, not really the same level of commitment, that, is it? It's not the same thing. No. And, Joe's just as bad, because Joe's just as bad about being off from work as I am, right? Like, she's really strict with it. And then she starts doing the whole, well, the weekend then, you can't do what you've got planned. And I'm like, well, that's 4 days away, and I'm no. If you're phoning in sick today, you're not going to the football on the weekend. Like, but I might be better though then. No, it's not happening. Like,
Dave, it's Euro 2020 next year. If you ring sick, you can't watch that in June 2020.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I try and avoid it as much as possible as well, because it's like, things just pile up, don't they? And it's just horrible.
For me, definitely. No one looks at my work while I'm off. And the fact that the other thing that gets me, right, is instantly when I wake up in the morning and I know that I'm far too ill to go in, I think, I haven't even got my out of office on, so I'm going to get an email in the morning and then see an email in the afternoon from someone important going, Dave, what the fuck are you doing? Get this done now. And I'm like, oh Jesus, yeah, it's horrible.
Do you get emails like out of work time?
No, I've asked for it. And it was funny because I recently asked for it and my boss just went, look, this is something you don't want in your life. Like, it's horrible getting email outside of the office. And I'm like, I know what you're saying, but it's worse now because when I'm not in the office and I can't see my emails, I freak out about it more than if I got like a bad email while I was like out on my weekend or whatever. Well, what about you?
Well, because in what I do, I get emails at all times of the day, like, and it doesn't matter what's going on, you're getting stuff like to deal with all the time. And sometimes I wish, that it was just like during work hours, but it's not. And mostly this is because I deal with people that are in like other time zones and all over the place, so it doesn't matter, like whenever they just email me whenever. And like Chen's always like, oh, you should just wait until it's your work time to do that and whatever. But I hate doing that because then it's just like in the back of my mind all the time. It's just
exactly.
I've got to deal with that. This has got to be dealt with or whatever.
I'd be the same, but I still prefer that than not knowing, because that is just the absolute worst. I hate it.
Well, can't you just put emails on your phone?
What's that?
Can't you just add your company emails to your phone?
I can't talk to you about that on the show, but I will talk to you about it afterwards, and it'll drive you mad. I mean, James, you know the history.
Yes.
It's,
we're doing Google Suite.
Right, what fun little bit of chat before we get into the show. Isn't it funny about work emails? Right, a big shout out to our Patreon producers. They went full Nels. Alan M. Nash this week went full Nels. Steve Garrett also joined him in the full Nels camp. Aaron Patrick is always there, mate. He set up the camp full Nels. If you'd like to go full Nels, go to www.patreon.com/TCGS. What is that tier actually called?
Living it? I don't know.
Is it living it? Yeah, I think it's living it.
Has this full Nels, I hate saying it, like thing actually caught on? Because you're the only one I ever hear like saying it all the time.
I'll tell you this, James. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not doing it for people to catch on to it. Yeah. I'm doing it because it makes me smile a bit once a week. Yeah. And, if you've got a problem with that, go fuck yourself. Nice. Okay, should we get on to feedback from last week's show?
Let's. We're discussing Mario Kart Tour on mobile last week, and Lou Proctor has got involved. I heard you all dismissing Mario Kart Mobile after giving it a try, and whilst I can see where you're all coming from, I do think you've missed a mark on it a little. I've had my fill of Mario Kart 8, so I thought I'd give it a shot. The controls...
don't even...
No, mental.
Okay, don't compare them, though.
I'll carry on. Go on. The controls... James, I can see you selecting text. You're not good deleting it. It's started very, very early on. Pass on now. The controls didn't immediately click, but after a little while, I think they're actually pretty great. Perhaps it's helped that I've been very drift-centric since the mainline games added a boost for drifting. Once you learn the tracks, it becomes fairly trivial to coast through the track with elegant use of drifting. On winning races, once you've got a bit more into the game, you realise that winning isn't the most important thing. To rack up the big scores, it's all about perfecting the combo system. It's about keeping combo going as long as you can, chaining, drift, boosts, jumps, collecting coins, and using items to rack up massive scores. Coming third or fourth with mad combos is worth more points than first with none. It's something I'd love to see integrated into future entries somehow. Similarly, the remix tracks with loads of extra jumps and obstacles will make a nice addition to the main games. The monetization is unpleasant, but it can be largely ignored. I didn't spend a penny, but I'm working on the last 2 cups now. I think I will need to grind or pay up to get all the stars, but we'll see. It's kind of bullshit that I've not been able to unlock Mario when his name is in the title. I can understand why you all seem to bounce off it. Don't want to say your initial impressions are wrong, but there is an interesting game in there if you're willing to give it another shot, or don't. There's loads of other games. That's Lou Proctor. I mean, for me, fundamentally, the controls weren't great. I could probably live with monetization or the different structure if it just felt good to control. And it personally, I just didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I mean, right, okay. Let's not just jump down to that thing. We haven't played it enough, have we? So I mean, you can get used to the controls or whatever, and we've got to take his point of view as valid because he's put a lot of time into it, and yeah, it may feel like a completely different game to what we know as Mario Kart. So there's every chance that we've played it on this don't feel like Mario Kart, fuck this, and then just deleted it. But so you might have a point. I don't know anyone that's played it to any length of time. The monetization stuff really puts me off, and I just thought it felt awful in that one race that I had. So, I bounced off of it. There might be a game in there, but it's not one that I'm particularly going to force myself to get into. James, your point of view?
No, I completely agree. I have no interest in anything which has such aggressive monetization as that game. I didn't
But
like it.
he's
at all.
saying that there isn't.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think any of us have played enough to really say whether that's the case.
Well, it is. As in, if you want, okay, it's not if you just want to like rack up high scores or whatever, but then all the other stuff, like all the unlockables and all that kind of thing, which is why what they're trying to, not force you, what they're encouraging you to sort of get involved in is ridiculous. Because it is all just based on the gacha stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's fair, and if that puts you off straight away from any game, then yeah, you are going to bounce off it straight away and turn your nose up. But yeah, I mean, that's another opinion on that game from someone that's clearly played it more than we have. So, I mean, as I said, we've spoken about this stuff before, that we can only give our own sort of personal point of view with this stuff.
Yeah.
And if we haven't put enough time into it, I mean, we've always been clear about how much time we put into stuff.
Definitely, always clear. Never. Yeah,
okay, maybe that was the wrong. Maybe that was the wrong statement to make, but we haven't played it enough. All we can say is that the one game that I played, I fucking hated it. So that's my point of view.
I wonder if they'll patch this to allow for controller support.
No way.
Of course they won't.
No way. The whole game's based around it, and by the sounds of it, it's a completely different game to Mario Kart, based on what Lou's saying anyway. So
it's annoying, isn't it? Considering iOS 13 now works with pads, but this one doesn't. It's like,
just take your Switch. Mario Kart 8 is the best one.
That's exactly it. And I mean, the whole point of these Nintendo games anyway is not to replicate like exactly like any of Nintendo's games on like iOS. It's to give it like a taster for what you can play on Switch. They're supposed to be like adverts that make a lot of money. And that's the.
I really, really hope. Talk about Mario Kart though. I really, really hope the next entry to the system, and I think we've said this on the show before, I really hope the next one goes down the Smash Brothers route.
Oh, yeah.
Where it just says, okay, we're not going to be Mario Kart anymore. We're going to, every level is based on a new game, like a new Nintendo franchise. There's a ridiculous amount of characters that you can be. You know, it's just, okay, some of those courses are incredible, but I don't want to play another like Sweet Canyon or whatever level or Shy Guy Falls or anything, which was incredible. Don't get me wrong, I know I'm going to get shit for this, but I want to play like a Metroid theme level and a fucking, Game & Watch theme level. I want all that shit in it. Like, I want it to go nuts with that shit.
I'd really like that, but can you imagine the Nintendo Directs for that? Like what they'd be like? And the same way.
Probably watch them all. Actually, no, I wouldn't, because but I'd love for all that to be a surprise. If they go, okay, the next one is Mario Kart Ultimate, brilliant. Okay, I'm media blackout from me. I'm not going to look into anything, and then when it comes through, but that's the route it's got to take. Damn it, get it done, Nintendo. Get it done.
Do you reckon we're going to get one on Switch or the next console?
This is the last one that will be on Switch. There won't be another one on this.
But this one was.
How long do you think the Switch is going for?
Just a Wii U version, wasn't it?
No. It was okay. It was a remix, wasn't it? Really?
It was a re-release. Yeah. So it
was exactly the same as the Wii U version, except for there was two changes. One, it included the there's a few additions. It included the DLC, so still Wii U stuff. They added the battle mode, which wasn't brilliant anyway.
No, it's terrible.
And added the Inkling. And that was it.
Yeah, so this was basically the Wii U version, and so we're not even going to have a proper new Mario Kart on Switch.
They need to do it. Yeah, and where the hell is my 3D series? We need a new one of them. At this point, they can't just re-release 3D Land, can they?
Oh, they must. I still just want that. Like, even if it was just that, I'd be happy.
More than a brand new 3D game.
Obviously, you want a brand new one, but. Why can't they release that game? Because it was so good.
Because maybe they're working on the sequel to it, James. Maybe they're working on the sequel to it. That would make sense.
What makes sense is release 3D. Is it 3D Land or 3D World?
3D World, yeah.
Yeah, release 3D World so people get people who didn't play it on Wii U or whatever it came out on can get excited for it. And then, maybe they announce a sequel, but here's 3D World out now.
No way. No. Just go straight to the sequel coming out in December this year.
That's not happening.
Get it done. That's what I want. Next email.
Thomas Lamafluff 42. In the last few shows, I've noticed Matt doing that classic Matt thing. Whenever the conversation strays into Stadia, he changes the subject. He always does this when he knows he's going to lose an argument. This means he knows his pre-order is a really bad idea. Cancel it, Matt. No, the thing is, right, what's been happening is that we could be talking about anything else, and then James would like, yeah, it's like Stadia, isn't it? In a way, it's like, well, why are we ripping into Stadia? This is a totally different subject.
Matt,
why are you paying over £100 for this thing?
Is, yeah.
I don't understand what you're doing, Matt.
Are you excited about this, Matt? Because it's quite, isn't it quite soon? Like, you must be really pumped at this stage.
No, of course I'm not really pumped for it.
Then why are you spending over £100 on it?
Because I like things to be. I like to be at day one. Although I will say I'm dangerously close to cancelling the pre-order.
Just cancel it.
I mean, it's coming November. I mean, you must be really excited. I mean, you've got.
Can you do it on the show? Do it while we're recording.
Well, so I want to cancel it, but I'm thinking like, what if they'd make like a big announcement in the lead up?
Do it now,
Matt. Even if they make a big announcement, don't worry. You can just do it again. They're not running out of units.
No, they have though. They've sold out in a Founders Edition.
No, they haven't.
Right, okay, let's
test
them out.
That's what they've said.
Let's test them out, James.
Yeah.
Matt, cancel your pre-order now.
I mean, I'm mulling over, but I'm not going to make a rash decision on the pod right now.
Do it now. You're not going to do it. He's going to buy it. He's going to end up with it, James.
But basically what's going to happen is...
I know exactly what's going to happen. You're going to buy it, and then you're going to spend about 2 weeks saying that it's amazing and it's changed how you think about gaming. And then you won't play it ever. You won't play it again. Like, we won't hear anything about it for a couple of months. I actually think
the bigger issue is that I just want to be there day one, see what the UI is like, see if it works, and then basically I know I'll probably won't play it after that.
£100 to see if it works.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
But I'm excited to test about stuff. But
do you think that you're going to sell it on?
No. If I got it, I wouldn't be selling it on because there might be.
Do you know what's even more amazing about this? Right, so it's 120 quid, like to buy this.
Yeah.
But then you get a 3-month subscription to Stadia Pro. But then after that, you're going to have to start ponying up like £9 a month for it as well. Like,
well, not only that, James, he's not going to be able to play anything unless he buys a game, right?
No, he can play Destiny 2. Like you can get
that's
right into that.
Yeah. I mean, I've also like no one else I know is getting it, so I won't even be able to play online. And I'll basically play it for the first evening. It'd be really exciting to open it and like start it, and then after that I just won't use it.
You know when you go in Destiny to go to the tower in Destiny 2 and it's just rammed with people?
Yeah.
Matt's going to load Destiny 2, go to the tower, it's just him just walking about.
Anyone want to do raid? Yeah. No. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, as much as I like to be there day one for these things, I'm thinking I should cancel it because even I can see I will
cancel it. Then
I'm not cancelling now. But
this is it.
Matt, you can
play
what you're going to be like Assassin's Creed Odyssey on it.
What's that? Sorry.
You could play Assassin's Creed Odyssey on it. You must be well excited. Or Just Dance. You can get that. They're both confirmed. For the machine.
I'm not even really excited about the games. It's more about the potential. But
I love the fact that he hasn't even got a Pixel either. So, like, half the stuff he won't be able to do with it.
Well, no. I just won't play it on my phone, but I'll play it on like Chrome on the browser.
All right, yeah, cool. Right, next email.
So I haven't cancelled it yet, but I think I probably will.
No, we're aware, and you're not going to cancel it.
I think I probably am
because you want to see what the UI is like.
You know what it's going to be like. It's going to be life changing, Dave. You'll see.
Yeah, I know. Oh no, it's brilliant. I get to do it on my browser. Do you? Yeah. Okay, fine. You're saying, oh no, I am going to cancel it. I am going to cancel it now. Then
he's like, I could play it at work, and you're like, can you? He's like, no, they block the ports, but I
don't think they'll be blocking ports, James.
They do at my university.
Blocking ports.
Well annoying, but yeah. Well.
Okay, well that's very different.
Right, okay.
Ray Tracing at Insert Corners on Twitter. It's a very interesting tweet we've got here. In the remake / actually, it might have been an email, whatever. In the remake / remaster discussion, I think the confusion stemmed from Matt having the terms backwards. Remakes, open bracket, Ratchet and Clank, Link's Awakening, use entirely new code and assets. Remasters are just some spit and polish on top of a mostly unchanged game. Sometimes remasters can change things, like Dark Souls 2's Skull of the First Sin, but the underlying code engine and game is just a polished up version of the original. Did I not say exactly that?
I mean,
I don't
I'm pretty
even remember
sure
this, but I'm sure you didn't say it wrong.
We weren't even having an argument. Yeah, we weren't even having an argument about this side of things.
I mean, like,
it was, what
the
we were
example I
arguing
kept
about
using
was whether. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
The example I kept using was Shadow of the Colossus, because that was literally just like HD version of the existing game. I think we've been pretty clear with what's...
No. No, it wasn't.
Wasn't it?
The PS4 Shadow of the Colossus was a remake, wasn't it, from the ground up?
I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the HD version on PS3 was a remaster.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, either way,
So maybe you were confused, Matt.
maybe if I use that example, but anyway, but I think we know what they are. But thank you for the clarification.
I don't know. Actually, now I'm on. Insert
I guess now,
side.
actually thinking about it, yeah, maybe because I kept using that example, and if that is that really like a remake?
I thought it was.
I thought it was
James, do a
literally
bit of
just like a
googling while he
H-
reads out the next one.
Keep talking and I'll look it up.
Okay. Last week, I had a bit of a bee in my bonnet about people kept saying, "Oh, that is well Tory. Oh, I can't believe you did that. That's well Tory." Athena Allen and Busker Lily, you both complained about it, saying that calling us Tory is well Tory, so you're both on the list. That's it. Ben Simon at Scientologist.
Well, I mean, hold on.
Okay. I've got the word on the Shadow of the Colossus. Do you want to know?
Go on then.
Okay, so it says the remake was led by Bluepoint. It says the developers remade all the game's assets from the ground up.
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay, well,
yeah, so that's where you get confused, Matt.
But
You fucked it completely.
I haven't said that. I do know what remake and remaster is.
Well, I don't know about that now.
I should use an example wrong.
This Tory thing, can our listeners up their game a little bit, please? Because Matt was clearly taking the piss out of... His point was, stop calling everything Tory, it undermines what being a Tory is, right? That was the joke there.
Yes.
Like, up your game, listeners, right? Except for you, Insert Coins, you were actually quite correct on Matt's assumption of what a remake and a remaster was. But...
apart from you right tracing, but like Athena Allen and Busker Lee, sort your lives out. Come on. We put loads of work into this. We want you to do the same. It's not fair otherwise. You guys you go running on empty. Do something about twitter.com/your names. Write something better. Tory.
Next email.
Fucking hell. Ben Syme at Scientologist on Twitter. I had to pause the computer game show because David mentioned an idea for another area that should be in Goose Game, and I started laughing so hard. It's now my most wanted sequel. And then obviously you clarified, or you both clarified it was a murder scene on Goose Game.
I didn't know which one was that funny. But then, to be fair, you listen to it. We are just barking out ideas left, right, and centre, and they were all incredible.
Yeah.
So
I still think the museum would still be great. With like vases.
Yeah, it would be great running around with like a big T-Rex bone in your gob. It's just perfect.
Yeah, and like honk, like someone's looking at like the Mona Lisa and you honk and they like head first into the Mona Lisa.
They fall into it and somehow their head goes through the canvas in where Mona Lisa's face is. We know.
Yeah,
we know.
Or like you honk and the security guard knocks the expensive vase off a plinth. Oh.
And it'd just be the reused vase from the garden scene.
Yeah.
We're saving you time as well, House. Get involved.
It works. That's it for feedback. It's at Computer Game Pod on Twitter if you want to tweet us, or you can email podcast@thecomputergameshow.com.
Cool. Right. Blimey. Let's get straight to the news.
Okay. It's been an average week this week. There's been a couple of things.
I think it's been quite a good one.
I think it's been a couple of things that are interesting. A couple of bit of filler. I mean, the first one's a bit of a filler. Shawn Layden is leaving PlayStation.
Do you think that's filler?
Is that filler? That's a huge thing.
Someone who's been on PlayStation for 32 years leaving, you think that's just filler?
Well, I guess so, but it's like, what are you going to say about it? It's like...
Well, this is it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have been following like the reactions to it on various different podcasts and all this sort of stuff. It's hilarious, the reaction to this stuff. I mean, can someone like Shawn Layden leave a company without people saying, "Oh, what's going on?" Like, it genuinely sounds like there was nothing weird going on. And did you read the statement? Have you got the statement there from Sony?
Yeah. Hang on, let's have a look. No, I've got the direct statement.
Brilliant. Okay, now news falls apart
I've
again.
got it here.
If you want statements, then you've got to ask me for them ahead of time. I can't just I've got it here. Do you want me to read it?
We've got to ask him ahead of time.
Right, okay, here it is. Okay,
we're asking for the news story. That's not headlines. You've given us a headline. Brilliant. When we ask you for actual content and news story,
next time I'll make sure that I've got all of the statements lined up, ready to go. I mean, as it happens, I have got this one, which is ready.
You're saying it sarcastically, but thank you. Well done on doing what we've asked you to do.
That is the statement.
Do you want me to read it or not?
Yes, if you've got it now.
It is with great emotion that we announce that Worldwide Studios chairman Shawn Layden will be departing SIE. His visionary leadership will be greatly missed. We wish him success in future endeavours and are deeply grateful for his years of service. Thanks for everything, Shawn.
What happened to your voice at the end there? That was weird. Right, I'll say this, right? Okay, that was quite a touching little tweet, I thought. Do you know what? He's probably just said, yeah, it's time for me to move on. I'm not, but then you listen to you read the articles and you listen to the podcast and they're like, yeah, something's going on here. This is really weird the way he's leaving here. Something's going on. I just thought, none of these people can leave without there being some sort of conspiracy theory. Although I will say that the opening part of that is just the most robotic thing I've ever heard.
For 32
it is
years
with
of a
great
job.
emotion.
Yeah. I heard a lot of those people, a lot of the podcasts saying similar things, saying this news got left out to die and no one's really said much. But 32 years of the company and they got that tweet. It felt weird only because recently...
I'm sure they might have done something recent.
They probably did more than just the tweet, Matt. I don't...
but publicly that's all we've seen.
What else are they going to do?
So
release
a big fan,
like put in the newspaper like a massive advert saying thank you and everything.
Join our live stream of Shawn Layden's parade at 2:00. What did you want from him, Matt?
I guess the more recent big high profile people leaving are things like Reggie, where there's a video and this that, and the other, and Shawn Layden's never been that sort of personality in terms of leading PlayStation compared to Reggie, so maybe this always could be the case. But I don't know, it just felt a bit like, yeah, here we go, he's off now. I mean,
I'm still
but when you think
waiting
about
for that one
right?
from Jay Allard, from Xbox.
When you think about it now, you've got Don Matrix leaving video. Would have been interesting. When you think about it, you got
would have been a
Phil
TV
Spencer
show.
You look at the three main ones that are currently there before Shawn Layden left. You had Layden, who no one really... He didn't really appeal to people, did he?
No, I wouldn't say so.
And then you've got Phil Spencer, who I think is probably...
He's been the best.
Out of the current three.
He's been great.
Because then you've got Bowser, who the jury's still out. I mean, very early on.
Yeah.
I'm suspicious of him because he worked for EA, and that's just a bit,
But yeah, no, it'd be interesting to see who Sony... That was the other thing. They were going, the timing of this is weird. The PS5's coming out soon. And I was thinking, well, actually, surely that's perfect. A new console, a new sort of representative.
Well, that's the thing, because it was just before PS4 that... It was just before PS4 what's his name did
Why do you think the time is strange?
What was you saying there, James?
No, I was saying it's just before the PS4 that Phil Harrison left Sony, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's terrible." It's like that worked out all right. It wasn't so bad after Recon.
They're putting a new machine out. They want a strong message for this machine, as everyone does. But so surely a great way is to bed someone in just before it comes out, and then boom, give it that message rather than have them leave soon after it launches or whatever. I think it's better this way.
This is we're only 12 months away from launch. This feels like quite late in the day to leave. But
no, I mean, not in terms of what he does within the company is completely different, right? So what he does in the company is what he does in the company, but what we see, I don't think that's late in the day to announce his departure.
I mean, in terms of what we see, that doesn't matter at all. I'm thinking if this person is leading, PlayStation just a year before, before the next generation.
Yeah, but Mark Cerny's still there, and I'm pretty sure he's the one that's going to be putting all this new console together.
Just in the factory.
Yeah, he's going to be there with his hairnet on, just picking up and his rubber gloves, putting the microchips in.
I'll tell you what, though, there's definitely something up, because also it's the Japanese president and corporate director has also left. This is Atsushi Morita. He's left Sony as well.
Okay,
but that's because he's old.
Yeah, I also read some other reports about people saying they're really concerned because it feels just a bit all over the place in terms of Sony's lead up to PS5.
We're not going to do this. We're not going to be one of those podcasts like all the other podcasts that go, "Oh, something's going on here." What's going on here, James?
Yeah, I was being sarcastic, Dave. You didn't let me finish the whole sentence before you started.
Yeah, but you don't change your voice when you're being sarcastic. It's hard to tell, James.
That's part of the fun.
Yeah, it's very deadpan. Anyway,
you look really good in that shirt, David. Oh, thanks, James. I was being sarcastic.
Exactly.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Totally works.
Yeah, what's it every time? You look great in that shirt, David.
Anyway, the other guy has retired, so it's probably
the other guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
retire.
probably
What does that
because
mean? Why retire now at this late stage in his life? Interesting.
I mean, retirement. What does that mean? Is a phrase that we're all going to have to get used to because we're in our
political.
30s, and that's
No
Yeah,
politics.
we're not going to
please.
be retiring, are we? It's not going to happen.
But yeah,
we're not.
that was
we're
what
gonna,
he was.
we're going to work until we
that
die.
was
James.
what he was implying.
Next news
But
story.
hang on, before that, where's he going to go? That's the exciting thing.
Is it?
Stadia.
Next news story.
Okay. Next.
James,
Smooth.
your sense of timing is fucking ridiculous.
No, because it was because you said something and I said something at exactly the same time, and then I wasn't sure what was going on, and it all got a bit confused, and then there was
Next
a big
news
pause.
story.
Okay, PlayStation now is getting a permanent price cut and also like a bigger content push. So
Okay.
what they've done is they've reduced it from £85 a year down to £50 a year. And they've also added like God of War, Uncharted 4, Infamous Second Son, and Grand Theft Auto 5 to the service. But the thing is they're only going to be on there for like 3 months, and then they're promising like what they call marquee games every month, like that they're going to release like each time. What?
Those games are only going to be on there for 3 months.
Yeah, until January.
that's the plan.
But God of War is like theirs.
Yeah. I know this is the weird thing, but they're promising that. But then the thing is they also said that these may go into like archive stuff, if you sort of mean, because the other thing that they're trying to put across with this is they've got Grace Chen who's running it. She said that the service, like they're trying to promote the idea that it's got the largest catalogue of any console subscription service because they've got like over 800 games available on it. And so the whole point is they're going to put like what they're calling marquee games on there every month, but then there'll also be like the vault kind of thing of just like putting old stuff in there. So I presume that will mean that stuff like God of War and things like that will go into that eventually.
Yeah, they need to sort their messaging out for this, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they've made this price reduction, they've added these games, and we're hearing about it via press releases.
Yeah.
They should have done a video that goes, did you know you can download these games? They're not all streaming. PlayStation Now is not all streaming anymore.
Yeah.
I know they changed that a long time ago, but people don't know that shit.
Yeah.
This is the price. This is what you're getting. Look at how many games there are. Just put a fucking video out there. Maybe there is a trailer and I haven't seen it, but
they did do a trailer.
did they really?
Yeah.
How have I not seen that?
I've
then?
not seen it either. Yeah.
I mean, it's in the piece you linked to, James, on Eurogamer. Didn't even scroll
How
down.
have we not seen it, Dave? It's...
Didn't even scroll
No,
down.
but I haven't seen it,
hang
and
on,
you'd have
where is
thought
it?
that there would have been.
Oh, let's have a look. Hang on, I'm just having a look at the thing. Hang on. This is good.
It doesn't
isn't
matter. Yeah.
Something's gone wrong, isn't it? Something like, I mean, they need to get that message out there better, I think.
I mean, this is definitely a
because
step in the
Game
right
Pass,
direction.
everyone talks about Game Pass. You know, Game Pass gets mentioned alongside Xbox all the time, but it's not happening. I don't get that messaging with PlayStation. It's strange.
No, it has been a mess up to
And-
now, but
Matt,
this is definitely
Matt,
what, James?
Did you watch this trailer, Matt?
No, I just saw the video.
Yeah, it's
I just
not
saw-
a trailer.
What is it?
It's just a video, like, okay, it's not a video announcing any price cuts or anything like that. It's just a generic PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, like, trailer. It doesn't say anything else.
because what they should have done was to say an announcement, you know, tonight at such and such time, live on our Twitch, whatever, get people watching it, and then boom, the big push to get people onto PlayStation Now. And maybe that's still coming, but it feels like they're doing a lot. They're changing a lot with that service, and they're not exactly crowing about it. It's just strange to me. It doesn't really, I don't know.
Yeah.
And as you say, James, you've used it before, and you said that it's a really good service.
Yeah,
right?
it's fine. Like, especially for PlayStation 4 games. If they do like start to put like games on this, I mean, they're not gonna do what Xbox are doing with Game Pass because they don't have to.
No.
Like, they don't have to do that. No. But if they do start to like stick things up there, you know, that people would be interested in, it could be good. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it can turn into something, but maybe they're waiting for the next gen to come out to start pushing that stuff.
Especially if the next gen, if it will allow you to like download like PlayStation 3 games or whatever as well. Because there was before when you went on the show, there was a lot of stories about like patents that were like floating around for, you know, for like for the PlayStation be able to play like PS3
Every
games, PS2
PlayStation
games, and
disc,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you could
Yeah,
download them,
yeah.
that'd be brilliant because
They'd be mad not to, because they know that that's the direction Microsoft are going, and you know that people are excited about that. And we've had another generation worth of game sales, and a lot of those have been digital sales.
Yeah.
That it just seems like the right thing to do. That the next Xbox, you load up and your home screen goes, no, those games you bought on your Xbox One and your 360, you just download them on this as well now.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way they're going, clearly, and Sony needs to get that sorted, definitely.
So this is not a bad price, I think. I mean, £50 for a year. If there are going to be games on here that are like worth it or whatever, then even if you only play two of them,
that works out cheaper than Game Pass, doesn't it?
it is, yeah. But then again,
but monthly it's not.
Yeah, it's not. But you're not getting the same quality, are you? Really, is the problem?
No, I guess not.
Yeah, which is the thing.
But yeah, no, okay.
Are
cool.
either you two tempted with £50 a year?
No,
absolutely not.
No, not at the moment.
I don't play my PlayStation enough, to be honest with you. So
no, me neither. I mean, but I mean, it's definitely going in the right direction. But it doesn't really interest me right now.
Cool. All right, then.
Okay, PlayStation 4 crossplay is now out of beta and available to developers. So
what does that mean?
Okay, so this is the crossplay stuff so that you can play with other platforms. Like Xbox and stuff like that. For a long time, they said, okay, we're going to do this so you can play Fortnite and stuff like that with other people. And then there was a couple of select games that were enabled for that, like Fortnite. But then now it's completely out, and any developer that wants to incorporate it can. So it's now up to the developers if they want to enable crossplay or not.
So they don't need Sony's permission to allow crossplay. Well, that's brilliant then. I just next up cross
progression.
Well, it's not saving, is it? Cross progression, is what I want next. But that all opens up all sorts of issues. Crossplay, I mean, is great, but it doesn't change your experience that much.
Yeah.
Cross progression is more of a big deal.
Definitely, yeah.
For me to be able to load up the Rocket League on PlayStation and all my stuff be on both systems, it would be a game changer for me.
Is it not like a Rocket League account or anything yet? I thought there was the one coming.
I thought there was as well, but I've never been asked for it, so I don't know.
Because I thought there was one that allowed you to sync stuff, but maybe not. No, this is good. I mean,
I quite like having a different one for my Switch though, because it's harder to play on the Switch, and I wouldn't want to fuck up my stats on the Switch. But PS4 means that it opens me up to playing with some other mates, and that would be nice, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next, EA have leaked personal information of FIFA 20 players. And so,
what do you mean FIFA 20 players?
Okay, so this is
everyone.
No, this is for the global series competitors. So there was 1,600 players signed up for this. This is the FIFA 20 Global Series. What is that? Because I don't even know what that is.
It's an esports.
No, nor do I.
Competition.
It must be their esports thing.
Yeah. So registration opened, but then they closed it after 30 minutes because what was happening is people were going on the website to register and then seeing other people's personal information like in the fields of the form. So
what are we talking here? Just their emails or
email, date
addresses?
of birth, EA username, country of residence,
awful, isn't it?
and all that kind of
Fucking
stuff.
hell.
Yeah, I mean, do you want me to read the statement from EA?
Go on.
So they said, at approximately 1 PM UK time, we announced the registration portal page for EA Sports FIFA 20 Global Series. Shortly after, we learned that some players trying to register were seeing the information of other players who had already signed up through the registration page. We immediately took action to shut down the site by 1:30 PM UK time. We were able to root cause the issue and implement a fix to be clear that information is protected. We're confident that players will not see the same issue going forward. But there's not been any information so far about them reopening registration. That hasn't happened yet.
What else can they do?
Yeah.
I mean, they fucked up big time. But what else can they do? They took it down straight away and they've tried to fix the problem. So.
Just give them some Ultimate Team cards or something. I don't know. Just, sorry. No, it was an accident.
I mean, it's really shitty. There's no getting around it. Like that is a really shitty thing to have happened.
Yeah.
And someone is fucked up big time.
Yeah, I saw. I don't know his name, but there's some big prominent FIFA esports players who are properly kicking off. Like one guy saying he's gonna sue, he's gonna get
so they should.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So
and he was saying so many other people that he plays, FIFA professionally with are all saying this is just a joke, and people are actually questioning whether they can even be bothered playing FIFA professionally anymore. So this is going to do them an awful lot of it's just really, really bad for EA and esport and FIFA as an esport. I think if they're screwing over,
they threatening to play
most
PES
hardcore
instead.
I don't know. Have you played it this year? Probably not. I wouldn't go that far. Go on.
Okay, David, would you like Bully 2 as a game?
I would like Bully 2 as a game.
Looks like it's not happening because...
for fuck. Why you break this?
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, Bully 2 development fizzled out, as they say, after 18 months. So, what this was that Rockstar New England were working on this in the early 2010s, and Dan Houser had written a script for it in 2008, which contained like a couple of scenes and an outline for the story. It was supposed to be Jimmy again from the first game, and it was going to take place, at least initially, like during the summer holidays, like after the end of a school year, but they never decided, like, where the story would take him, like whether he'd like go to, back to school or anything like that. So then Rockstar New England spent 18 months building out the whole thing and created like a whole playable version of the game. And although they said it was like a very small slice, but then after that, nothing really was said and the momentum disappeared and developers just moved to other projects and that was it. And it was,
I mean, they're in a fortunate position, Rockstar, where they can just can projects like that and it probably doesn't affect them at all.
Yeah.
They've bankrolled development of something for 18 months and they're like, okay, well, it's not really working. And, in an ideal world, most places would do that because it means they're not going to try and force a product out at the end of it. But yeah, I mean, it's easy for Rockstar to do that sort of stuff, not so much for other devs.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, it's sad. But, the rumours have been floating about for ages, hadn't they?
Yeah.
That Bully 2 was being looked at.
Well, there wasn't there? Because there was the other news, wasn't there? That there was one of the composers or whatever was involved. That it was going to happen, but it seems like it's not going anywhere now.
I'd be fascinated to just see what they put together.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they were like... The problem is, it would be lovely to see that, like, if they just put that out as a video, but it'd just be a nightmare because people go, this looks great, what are you doing?
Mm.
And then get on their back about it. But if they didn't feel like it was working and they're in a position where they can it, then that's probably the right thing to do, isn't it?
See, they're almost certainly working on Grand Theft Auto 6, aren't they? Like, that's probably what they're doing. I wish they weren't, though. I kind of wish they were doing something different.
Yeah, but then I'm also really excited to see a Grand Theft Auto 6, to be honest with you.
Mm.
I love those games, and to see what they... I'm just fascinated what tone they're going to take with the next one.
Mm.
I love it if they went serious like Red Dead. I love it if they...
I don't know if they could, though, man. Like, that's what Grand Theft Auto is. It's a parody.
Yeah, but the real life is beyond parody now. Like, what can they redo?
Well, that's bullshit. It's not beyond parody.
I don't know. Have you seen Trump's statement today? What he said?
I haven't. We're not talking about it here.
Trump's statement any day is like, the stuff they've done in the past, it basically takes a piss out of someone like Trump. And now, like, he...
Yeah, but there's an interview with Chris Morris that come out recently.
Oh,
and
for Channel 4. Was it Channel... Yeah, was that Channel 4 News? I think
it might be. No, I don't think it was. Oh, I can't remember. But and he was just like, no, absolutely. When we did like the day to day, some of the news stories that were coming out about government plans were so wildly insane that people back then were saying, "Oh, you're just parodying something that makes no sense." Like it's too easy. It's low hanging fruit, or the reality is more crazy than what you're doing. It's not. It's not beyond parody, is what I'm saying. I think they need to change the tone of it a little bit. It would be a bit stale if they did a Grand Theft Auto 6 where everything was, like a pun on whatever, but it could still take a lighter tone than...
I know that's what GTA's was done and done so well, but I would just love, even like with like the quality of writing and characters from Red Dead, but in a GTA environment, that would be
I think it would need to be a completely different franchise for it to do that, or for a completely different IP or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know. I mean, Jesus, I can't wait to see whatever they're doing next. I mean, they tend to be really, really good games.
They did that. Well, they announced Agent that came and went without
that was
anything.
Ages ago, yeah.
That hasn't happened. And
did you play Bully?
I played a little bit because I had it on PS2. I didn't play any like remakes more recently, but I played a bit and I enjoyed it. But I never got into it fully. No.
It was great.
It's really, really good.
It was really good, yeah.
Yeah.
I loved that game.
It was really good.
It came out when I was at uni, so I don't know, I had other things on my mind. But yeah, it was good, but I didn't go back to it.
Okay, cool. Next.
Okay, Super Mario Maker 2 has had an update, so you can actually play online with friends now. Yeah.
Does it work?
I don't know, because I haven't got any friends, so I can't try it.
Good point.
Yeah.
I will try that this week then, because Last time I tried to play that online mode, it was dog shit. Just didn't work. It was flat out. As I said, I've said before recently, is that that game mode looks like so much fun. Just jumping into random things and trying to beat your mates to the end would just be incredible. But it was so laggy
it still is
broken that it was pointless. It was pointless to even try.
I played it with randoms the other night, and it was still the same. It was still like really laggy and awful.
A mess.
And but you can now play with the Switch Online mobile app as well. So you can do voice chat while you're doing it.
Oh, really? Yeah. Cool. We'll try that. We should definitely try that.
This will work well as a stream, will it not? Like, so is the idea that two of you jump in together and then you both do random levels and race to the end? Or...
Yeah, you can either do competitive or you can do co-op as well. Like, you can just try and get through levels together.
Co-op. No, competitive. That's what it's all about. Trying to get through levels together.
Other user-controlled levels, or are these just like set multiplayer ones that Nintendo have created?
Other multi, they're made by other people.
Okay, amazing. Okay, cool.
That's the impression I got, James. Because the amount of ones that I saw, Nintendo were never making those.
They've also added official accounts now as well, which is good because they did this with the Wii U version. Already had this, whereby you could follow like Nintendo accounts or whatever that were like churning out levels as well. And it's good because often they used to have like competition ones and like stuff like that, and it was usually the quality was a bit better, than other ones. So that's good.
Can't underestimate. I wasn't on the show when that game came out. My word, is it good? Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, as you said, as you were saying on the show, James, that the single player stuff made by Nintendo levels, that whole thing was fantastic. Just creating stuff was just so good. Harry booted it up again this week, and we just sat there for ages, just mucking about, and what a game that is.
Yeah, I need to play
that. It's good. It's a good one. Okay, next.
That's pretty much it. But Dave, have you seen? Okay, you remember the game's Animal?
I do remember the game's Animal. He bought out what was it, last year? He bought out that.
Yeah, last year he had his YouTube channel. Perry. Yeah, where he did the whole thing with the bikini babes and all that kind of stuff.
Bikini babes playing beat 'em ups. Up and down, up and down.
Well,
yes, I remember the game's Animal.
He's back, and he's got finally he's got episode 3 has come out, and it's
episode 3.
Yeah, it's the 3rd episode. I mean, he does apologise for the fact that he's not been churning them out. It's been just like this is episode 3 after like a year or whatever. But
right, so I'm guessing. It's been nearly a year since episode 2, because I think that just come out before Christmas, didn't it? Yeah. Or between Christmas and New Year, right? So it's been like 10 months. So 10 months of working on episode 3. I bet it's a banger, right?
Oh, yeah. It really is.
Have you watched
especially the sound quality. The sound quality is the best thing. We're like, there's most of it when he's talking, there's all like popping sounds and all that kind of thing from the mic, which is, I don't know how that happened. Like, not even I do that. It's, it's just kind of terrible. But I mean, it's a really bizarre episode because I did watch it because I saw it like on Rollmark, like somebody was like posted it. And I was like, I'm just going to sit here and watch some of this. And it's kind of, you can't take your eyes off it because you don't know what's going to happen next. Because it's just, I'm not sure how much of it is supposed to be intentionally funny and how much is just a bit sad. Like, it's just
episode 2. It was really funny because episode 1 was so bad, like that it was you were just laughing at him, and then episode 2 come out, and it was just him pulling things out of a box, going, "Here's some bandanas that I tried to sell at conventions. Some more bandanas in here," and it was just like, "Why am I watching this?" Yeah. But episode 3, is it back to the good cringy stuff?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it opens up with like him saying like during the summer there was like this event, I can't remember what it was, but like it was some beach event where they're all playing volleyball and everything, and there was people, then there's just all these like this montage of like people wearing these black t-shirts that say Games Animal, and they're all like playing volleyball and stuff like that, and then like sort of cuts of them all just like, standing there in groups and everything. You're like, I don't know who any of these people are, what this is for, what's going on with this. It's just really odd. So it goes through all that, and then he does this like straight to camera thing where he was sitting there for a good, I think it was about 10 minutes, like reminiscing about going to E3. And it's the most 90s thing you could ever imagine, like talking about like his experiences of going to E3 in America and how this was a big deal because people didn't go to America in the 90s, and it was a bit he felt like
people didn't go to America.
That's what he was saying, yeah. And also there wasn't any internet and all that, and you had to like hustle to get there and all this kind of thing. But the stuff that he talks about is, like he starts talking about like Californian girls and like how they're amazing and all this, and he's like, not there's anything wrong with British girls. He's like, but these were like, and it's just, you've got to see it. It's incredibly cringeworthy. But then so he does that, and then it moves on to a whole section where he started selling T-shirts. Which is like
Matt Murray got involved.
Oh yeah,
he got
Matt on board. Any tips? Anything we can learn?
No. I mean, they're not his T-shirts. They're just for some other company or whatever. And he was like, if you want these, you can buy them and use this discount code.
FredPerry.com.
And then he just started. He was like,
code.
I like Amiga games. Here's an Amiga joystick. If you've got any retro stuff you want to send me, I can use on the show. Then please do.
Oh no! Oh god!
Yeah, you've got to see it.
It's so sad.
It's very interesting to watch. I mean, I was glued to it. To be honest, it was great.
Right.
Yeah.
I will definitely check that out this week.
Yeah.
Looking forward to catching up on some games. Animal.
Yeah.
Speaking of games.
Speaking of games,
should we get on to
animals.
what you've been playing? Should we get on to what you've been playing?
Go on then.
I'll start with James this week.
Okay.
Go on, James.
All right.
Okay.
I finished Link's Awakening. So I finished it over the weekends, and
you were quite negative about this game.
Was I? This is the thing. Everyone seems to have this impression that I didn't like it, and it's not true at all.
For the past 2 weeks, you began. It's not making anyone's game of the year.
It's not, is it?
It's
not. Come on, it's not a game of the year. It was really nice, but it's still not. I wouldn't say it's not like a massive blow your mind like sort of experience because you know what you're getting.
But when you started the game right at the start, you were saying the frame rate was bugging you, the blurry edges to screen was bugging you, like. So did that get better? What's happening? Where are you now?
That still is a problem throughout. But as Matt said, you kind of ignore it after a while because the experience you're having is still nice. Like it's still a good experience.
Okay.
I mean, it's also got like one of the saddest endings to a game ever, which is
it was really sad actually.
Yeah, but it's still really very good. And I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing more remakes like this. It'd be nice. I mean, for me, this felt like it was a nice diversion. But I wouldn't put it on my Game of the Year list because it's, it still has the mechanics from like quite a long time ago, and it wasn't. I don't know, it's not like Breath of the Wild, is it?
I think it's an excellent game. It's definitely one up there with some of the best games this year. But I think there will be others that beat it into like a top 3 or top 5. But it was an excellent game, and I'm really glad I played it. Yeah, I would love to see other 2D remakes like this. It was just, you're right. It was like a nice distraction is the wrong word, but it just felt. It felt like playing the old game, but modernised, and I like the fact it's quite a short, contained experience as well. The music's great, it looks great. I had a blast playing it. I loved it.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, the last 2 dungeons they sort of increased in difficulty quite a lot. I thought
definitely, yeah, I died loads.
The ones
because I was about to say because I remember it being quite easy, right? No, is that not the case?
I think the first like load of dungeons are quite simple because they're very linear, and it's things like this was before they'd really sort of developed like more complex puzzles for solving things, where it's like many times you like go into a room and the only thing you need to do to get a key to move on is to just kill all the enemies that are in there. Which you don't get that in like more modern Zelda games quite so much. But then later on, it became much more about like backtracking and like having to like sort of memorize where like the whole map really for where you're like
Yeah, definitely. Like, that dungeon with the pillars. There's loads of like go here, do this, come back. Like you had things you had to take from one. Yeah, I died lots.
But also any of those ones where it has the like if you hit a switch and then it changes the like the red or the blue tiles.
Yeah,
where,
the orange and blue.
They got that in
Breath of the Wild.
Link to the Past as well.
Yeah,
one of the things that because Link's Awakening has that. You can only see on the map where you've been, right?
Yeah.
Right, so because Link to the Past, I was really surprised that it was just all open from the moment
they give you
start the game.
The map right from the beginning, don't they? So you can see.
Yeah, it's really bizarre.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah. I mean, I still would say it's absolutely worth playing. And like, I mean, if you want to borrow it off me, Dave, you can because I'm still.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely borrow it. I think if that's okay, because Harry's like he'd love it.
Yeah, sure.
He'd love watching that.
Yeah,
cheers, man. I'd appreciate that.
So that was good. The other things that I played this week, I played NeoCab, And this.
So how did you play NeoCab, James?
Oh, okay. I knew this was going to come up. So, okay, here's what
Tell
happened.
the people at home what happened.
Right, here's
wait. NeoCab, just before we go into it, NeoCab is a new game that's just come to Apple Arcade, right?
Yeah, and also Switch as well. So we first became aware of this when it was on that trailer for one of those Nintendo Directs that focus on indie games.
Okay.
And do you want me to tell you what it's about first before I explain?
Well, you explain, but I know what it's about. Yeah.
Okay, so what this is you play the part of Lena who's trying to move to a city to be with this friend who she was close to before. But then there was, for some reason they grew apart, and she's a taxi driver, and you drive these sort of neocabs, what as they're called, like around the city. So it's kind of like a Uber simulator in that you drive around, pick people up, and have conversations and learn more about the city. And then you have to like respond to the different conversations. But then the thing is that like whatever you say may impact your star rating, like as you're playing through. So you have to like consider, is it okay, to delve closer into this,
like Uber.
which is kind of nice. But I mean, so see, I saw this was out, and I really wanted this because I really like the look of it when I saw it on the Nintendo Direct, and I was thinking, okay, I'm probably going to get like the Switch version of this. So it came out this week, and it's like £16, and I'm like, that's quite a lot. And then, but you see, like I cancelled Apple Arcade like before, and like during the free trial.
Yeah, but your month's. Surely you still got a month.
No, you don't. If you cancel the free trial, it's cancelled. Like they just completely cut you off
instantly.
Yeah, I think if you pay,
that's rough.
If you pay, they probably do the thing.
Cancel a trial.
Yeah, they'll do it to the end of the month. Yeah.
But with this, they don't. They just cut you off. So I was like, nice.
Again, I don't really know, James, why you cancelled it before like this. Well,
did you know that? Did you know that going in when you cancelled it?
No, I didn't. And that's one of the other reasons why because I cancelled it, and I thought, okay, I'll probably still have it until the end, and then I haven't got to remember to do it later. But then it's like cancelled, you're cancelled, you're done. So then I was like, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this because I'd actually prefer to play it on the Switch, but I can't because it's. Then I just thought, then I had a back and forth with Matt about what I should do, and then
I said, "What? Why did you cancel it in the first place?"
Yeah.
Well, okay, but then surely $5. Wait, hold on. You didn't buy this on Switch, did you?
No, I didn't. No.
Right, okay, that's all right then.
Yeah.
So
I ended
you
up,
made the right choice.
I ended up resubscribing to Apple Arcade.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was just thinking, it's a £5, and a £5 is better than £16. And
yeah, a £5 is better than £16, plus you get 99 other games with it or whatever.
Well, there's that. And also the other thing that I like have been really enjoying with this is the fact that you can play it across loads of different, like all the stuff I've got. Like, because I've got mostly Apple stuff, it works on everything. So I played this mostly on Apple TV, but then it was completely seamless, like picking up like other devices. So if I like picked up an iPad, you just open up NeoCab and you're exactly where you left off on the TV.
God, that is so good. Yeah.
And that was really cool. And even like on your phone, like I was out and I was like, I've got a few minutes, open it up and it's there. And it's like I just resumed like straight away.
So can I ask you a quick question about Apple Arcade? Mm-hmm. I asked Matt, he didn't know 100%. When is it coming to Mac?
Today.
I said to you that it's in Catalina and that's out now. So
Yes. Well, you said the update was out today, so it should be there today. Great, that's brilliant because that means that I'm going to subscribe now because that's what I was waiting for. Because I want to play that Sayonara Wild Hearts. Is that what it's called? But
and what the golf?
And everyone's saying, I want to play What the Golf and stuff, but that was the one. Whereas What the Golf I know is good on the phone, but everyone was saying you got to play Wild Hearts on using a pad.
Yeah.
And the fact that I can either spend, £15-16 on the Switch version to play it on the Switch, or I could just connect my, my Switch Pro controller to my Mac and use that. I'm assuming you could do that, right?
Yeah, I know you can control it. You can control one of those, or like a PS3
but that's what's interesting because. On your phone only accepts a PS4 or an Xbox controller, right? Yeah. It doesn't have support for the Pro controller. Whereas the Mac supports the Pro controller, so I wonder if that will still then work with Apple Arcade. You assume so, don't you?
I'd assume so. I don't know, I have to try and investigate, see if it works.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, I can still play it on a controller on my Mac.
There's something you need to be aware of before you upgrade to...
Oh, go on in.
All your 32-bit apps will not work anymore. Like, at all.
What do you mean?
So Audacity won't work anymore.
Yeah. Audacity won't work. Levelator won't work.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because they're...
Well, that's...
Because like Catalina
what the fuck are we going to do?
Catalina only supports 64-bit like applications. So that, Dave, this is one of the
Audacity will
reasons.
update, right?
This is one of the reasons why I started using GarageBand. Is it like because that definitely works, whereas Audacity doesn't.
Well, yeah, I might just have to record using GarageBand, but Audacity will they'll
There should,
get an
there
update,
will
won't they?
be.
This is terrible. This is terrible conversation. All right, okay, fine.
Yeah, so that's what I ended up doing, and I ended up doing that, and it was worth it though because it was really interesting to see how these work across platform though, and it's fantastic. Like it's exactly
The game though.
what you'd be hoping.
The game. Let's get to the game.
All right, so anyway, where did I get to? So yeah, you're driving around the city.
You didn't
picking people up and giving star ratings. But what's quite interesting about it is that the conversations you have, like because you're worried about your star rating, because if it goes down really low, then you can potentially get fired. But then you do get into like interesting conversations, and I mean, like in one right from the off, there was one character that I was driving, and he said like, I don't want to talk about politics, like as we were discussing something, because there's the whole sort of like corporate side to this world, as there generally is in these sort of like cyberpunk style things, and then I had to choose whether to whether to push it or not, knowing that like I was thinking like what he's saying, I just disagreed with what he was saying, but then if I got into an argument, I might lose my rating and potentially get fired or whatever. But then I still pushed ahead. And what was really interesting about that was that I pushed ahead with the conversation, and it was just really nice because we agreed to disagree, like basically on it. But it was not in a very cliched, awful way. It worked like really well. And
well,
we
when
ended
I had
up
that conversation,
Yeah,
I said, okay, because I was also because I played a little bit of this as well. I was also a little bit worried about having an argument in my cab for like the first person I picked up. And I said, well, I've got my views, you got yours. And I think I apologised a little bit later, but he was like, it's cool, But
yeah.
But I didn't push on with a conversation. I think I tried to stop the conversation. So,
but then also what happens is that you build relationships with these people. So
How do you mean? What you see that you get them
them
in
repeated.
your cab more than once? Probably.
So what happens is every night you like open up your app to see like who wants a ride. And often you'll see the same people will keep coming up, and so you can go and see them. So you can like progress your relationship with them over time, and that affects the main story as well. But the other thing about that is it's pretty clear that you can't. There's no way that you could like see the whole story in one game, in one playthrough, because you're never, you can't get complete like sort of stories for everybody in the time that it takes, because it seems to take place over about six nights. And once the 6 nights are up, the main story is done, and that's kind of it. But I mean, I enjoyed the game because it focuses obviously a lot on like sort of current issues related to like politics and like data collection and like how comfortable we are or should be with technology, which is always like an interesting thing. I mean, we had that with the Red Strings Club, was also like kind of similar. But what they also have in this is they have this bracelet that you're given at the beginning, which indicates what mood you're in. Have you got that far, Matt?
No, not yet. I've just got to town and picked up my mate, and that's it. Yeah,
so she gives you a bracelet, and this bracelet, what it does is it changes colour depending on what kind of mood you have. And that, I mean, it's like a gameplay conceit, like it's there so you can see how your character is reacting. But there's also like a wider conversation about the ethical issues of this, because the person who gives it to you just says, oh, I love this because it makes me honest about my feelings with people, because people can see how I feel, so I'm just gonna, I'm gonna be like as honest as possible. But then, I mean, I'm looking at this and thinking that's monstrous. Like, there's no way I'd want people knowing exactly like what sort of emotions I've got as I'm speaking with them.
Oh, James, we always know what emotion you've got. Grumpy. What colour is it for grumpy?
It'd
what
be
colour
red.
is it for?
It'd be just permanently red. But yeah. But it's quite interesting because then you have this sort of like wider like ethical conversation about this, and it's that like is developed throughout the game as well, and it like becomes a thing. So even though it's like a gameplay conceit, they also are aware that this is actually a bit creepy and a bit weird.
So it builds to stuff.
Yeah, which
does it like start off like with easy conversations and then like gets more political as you go along?
Yeah, kind of. Depending on who you pick up. Because different. Right. I mean, I had one conversation.
Oh, you get to choose who you pick up.
Absolutely, yeah. You go around and pick up whoever you feel like. And I mean, I would urge you to play this because I think you'd probably like this, Dave, because it's also it's also quite relaxing as well, in the sense that it's, although in the background there are kind of high stakes things going on, you also get to just have these good conversations with people as well, which are sometimes not even related to what's going on. Like there was one conversation where this couple got in the back, behind, and they just like were obsessed with the idea that I was an AI, and that like the character driving was a robot, and then they like start trying to ask you questions to try and figure out if you're a robot or not, and you're trying to like argue the case that you're not, and then they're like, "Oh, that sounds like the kind of sort of thing a robot would say," and this kind of thing. It's pretty good. It works out pretty well. But I mean, there's a couple of relationships also. Like, towards the end, I felt kind of sad that I hadn't developed them further, because I was like, "Oh, that probably went off in an interesting direction," but I didn't get to see it because I ended it maybe too quickly, which is kind of a shame. But also, the other thing I liked about it is that it isn't like a very judgmental game at all. Like, you can draw your own conclusions, like based on like what's going on around you, and also a lot of the people you talk to are nice people. Like, this is not like a sort of very sort of heavy, like oppressive, like atmosphere. Or even though what is going on around you is not great, it's still get the feeling that people are still living their lives. They're still trying to sort of make sense of everything. And, as you do, like in regular life. So, yeah, I mean, I got the bad ending, but I still felt it was worth playing through, and I didn't feel...
You always get the bad ending.
Yeah, I know, but this time I got a bad ending, but I wasn't terribly upset that I did, because I just felt this feels like, I deserve that.
That's a sign of good writing.
Yeah, I felt fine about it. I didn't feel like anything bad about it. So, I mean, I would really urge you playing this, especially because it's on Apple Arcade, and so you can play it for, like for your subscription or whatever. It takes... I mean, I played it for about 4 or 5 hours, I think. Was my playthrough, and I'm still thinking about going through again because it was just it was a good, really interesting experience. Yeah,
cool.
It was great.
All right, anything else?
I also played Cricket Through the Ages. Have you tried this?
I've heard a bit about this. Yeah.
I mean, I've barely played it. I mean, I played it with Rachel the other night, and we were both laughing because it looks ridiculous. And it's another.
What is it?
It's a Devolver Digital game, and what it is there's 2 characters on the screen. And
are you playing on what you playing on?
I was playing on Apple TV when I did this, but you can also play it obviously on anything.
Right, so it's Apple Arcade.
Yeah, and that's why I played this, because it was free. And well, not you know what I mean. And what it is that you only have one button, like, to control what's going on. So, like, on the TV remote, it's just like the select button or the play button or whatever for the other person, and you just like swing your arms. Like, so there's one person on one side, one person on the other side, and they're like, it's like in 2D. Sort of Street Fighter style, and like you just like swing to throw something at somebody, so you have to like time it right so that you like release it at the right time to like knock them over, and then it sort of builds up to this idea that this is like the beginning of cricket, is like like a caveman throwing a ball throwing a rock like a T-Rex or whatever, and then it just goes through like the ages, as it were, as the title would suggest. And where you just basically
it sounded like you've just worked that out.
Where you just keep doing the same thing and like over and over again, and it was fun. I mean, there are like a bunch of other game modes as well, but I only played the first one, so I can't really say whether they were good. But we had a good time. It only took maybe 10 minutes or whatever to get through, and need to play some of the other ones.
Okay, I had it downloaded, but since day one. Okay, I didn't realise it was so short.
I think it's really worth playing with someone else. No, you can play it on your own as well. But it's clearly this was designed to play with other people, because it's just really looks ridiculous. Like when you're both flailing at each other.
Thing, is it?
It's just one button. Yeah, you just hold it down.
I'll play it. It looks good.
It looks really funny because the characters are just like flailing at each other. Like particularly if like both of you like throw the ball wrong, and it just like goes off in a completely wrong direction, and then you're just sort of like running at each other, your arms like just flailing in the like hitting each other. It's pretty funny, but so it was all right. Yeah, it's definitely worth it's worth a download. With Apple Arcade, it's worth having a look. And that was it.
Cool.
And then the only other thing I played was Pilgrims, which I know Matt you played as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Pilgrims is. I've been playing more Apple Arcade stuff this week. I can't really stop myself. I absolutely love it. Pilgrims, actually, the funny thing is, I heard this game came out last week, so there has already been like a second drop of Apple Arcade games. It was a new, I think it's like a new Redout game. There's that Bradwell Conspiracy, as James said, and another game as well. I can't remember the name of, but it does show. Oh yes, another game is Redout Space Assault. And Pilgrims, and a game called Nightmare Farm. So it is good that there are new games coming out for Apple Arcade. But Pilgrims, it's a game actually from the people who made Machinarium, who I talked about only like a couple of weeks ago, because I didn't like the art style.
Not in glowing terms.
No. It's basically it's a card game and also sort of point and click adventure, where you have this this overland, this overworld map, and you can basically click on this map to take your character to different sections of this map. And then when you get to the location, it's a single screen, and on that screen there might be something to collect. There might be someone to meet, to talk to, and basically there's a selection of puzzles, all of which are basically get something because someone else needs this thing, and then from then you get what they give you. That can help you solve another puzzle, so on and so forth. And you also, as well as like meeting these people, you can also get new people to swap out your character. So you start off as this bloke, and then you get to meet some other people, and then those people have different skill sets. Nothing that's really explicit. It's not really said, oh, and then you can now do this. But as you experiment and you swap the cards in and out between like a guy and a girl and some other people, you can see that they can do different things and have different impacts on the people that they meet. There's no voice in this game at all. It's all just done with little like Simlish sort of like beeps and bobs. But you also see like a speech bubble above the people's heads that you talk to, and then their speech bubble might say they want like a cooked fish meal. So you're like, okay, I need to find somewhere where there's like a lake. So you go there, but actually you haven't got fishing rods, so you need to go and find that somewhere. Maybe the person with that has something else that you need to get, and so there's like a big old sort of quest line to get different items to then solve the puzzle. The whole game can be finished in about 30 to 40 minutes, so it's not a long game. But I absolutely loved the style of the game. I'm not sure how I'd even describe it. It's illustrated. It looks like a children's like storybook. I really enjoyed the 30-40 minutes I played. What do you think, James? I don't think we've actually spoken about it much.
Yeah, I mean, you described it like pretty well, because it's. I mean, you finish it like in inverted commas in like 30 or 40 minutes, but I think the point is to keep going back to, because when you're playing the game, if something significant happens, then it goes to like this card appears on the screen, like to the right, which you can then like tap on, and then you get like a whole grid of different cards, which then like flip over if you've done something significant. And I think the whole point is you're supposed to like go back and replay it to like unlock all the significant scenes like that are going through it. I mean,
that makes sense.
Okay.
Because there must be like 30, 40 cards in that deck, and I might have unlocked like 10 to 12 on my first playthrough. So yeah, you're probably right.
Because
how do you unlock them?
Well, because there's multiple ways to solve like some of the puzzles. Like there's multiple ways to go through it, and then so different combinations will unlock like different like important scenes like that you'll see.
Right. Okay.
And I mean, I don't want to say what they are because
you'll see.
It'll ruin it. Yeah.
Sounded like a threat.
Yeah, it's really good. Like, sorry, James.
No, it is very good. I mean, it's basically. It's like to me, it felt like a trading game. Like you're basically sort of just going from place to place, picking up the right items, and then like trading it with people to get the right things, so that you can like progress. It's weird because after playing Link's Awakening, I felt like the same sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you've picked up this that does this or whatever, and yeah, it is very fun, and the visual style is really nice. I think you'd probably like this as well, Dave, because it's especially like 30 minutes or so. You can never like.
Yeah, I need to get on.
Yeah, again, I only play it on the phone. All you have to do is like tap the screen and then just tap card to the bottom of the screen. So it doesn't really require a controller.
Yeah.
But having said that, I bet it'll look great on the TV. But yeah, it's just really nice. It's really it's like a really another Apple Arcade experience, where it's just a really nice, satisfying, easy, comfortable game. Just like played assemble with care. You mentioned like Neocab being relaxing as well, James. So there's a bunch of these games where it's weird. Like maybe I don't know if it's just like the styles of games I've been playing or that we've all been playing, but also I think subconsciously I feel like it's the lack of in-app microtransactions, because obviously with those games it's so much about like counters and countdowns and do this and fill these bars and so on and so forth. But there's just literally the game, and there's it feels like there's no rushing. There's no like the game and trying to coerce you into doing this and the other or paying money. Or it's really nice. But again, maybe it's just in my head, because there aren't any.
I think you're completely right, because it's just. I was thinking about this when I was playing these, because I haven't played games like this for quite a long time, because you don't really get games like this so much on Switch, because of there is usually like a higher price point. most things are more sort of like action orientated or more sort of like focused on like having a big experience or something like that. And a lot of these are quite short. Like they're not very long games, but they're also often like quite affecting and quite beautiful. And it's a different kind of dynamic that you get from this kind of thing.
Yeah, no, it sounds like. I mean, I've not been on this yet, obviously, as I say, but it sounds like. Do you remember The Passage and stuff like that when all those games started coming out and they were like 10, 15 minutes long? There was One Life, I think, was another one. And it just felt that there were these little experimental things that you just play, but they stick in your mind because they're so different to everything else that you play. That it feels like it's sort of challenging that.
Yeah.
Also, what's cool about that is that it's like, if you remember, like at the beginning of I've said it. Fuck.
Well, you didn't quite say it. You're all right.
But I nearly said it again then.
Just say it, James. Go on.
No, I'm not saying it.
Just say
it.
it.
Get it out of your system.
Just say it.
In the beginning, they.
In the beginning.
Yeah. So, at the start, when they first had the App Store on iPhone, they were like experimenting with tons of things like this, and there was a lot of stuff that worked and some stuff that didn't work. Whereas now, they do seem to have like perfected a lot of stuff, which is good. It's I mean, they were talking about this on the Eurogamer podcast, and I completely agree. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, they feel
cool.
Like just getting curled up in a nice book, which again is something I haven't done for a long time. But but these like short 30 to 40 minute experiences or an hour long experiences have all been really nice. You haven't played Assemble with Care yet, have you, James?
Not yet. No,
you need to get that downloaded as well.
Play it.
That's excellent. Although I think that works really well on phone because it is like a little book. It feels like a little story in a little book. So maybe that would be more suited to that platform. But that's the joy again of this. You can play it on whatever you've got.
Even on TV, a lot. I mean, I've not played anything so far with a controller either. I've been using just like the remote, and because most of the stuff is just like swiping, it's absolutely fine. It's been absolutely fine, to control. So yeah, it's all right.
Cool,
it's good.
All right, Matt, anything else?
I'm still playing What the Golf. That game is still surprising me. It's still making me laugh. It's got a count at the beginning. I've done like 5,000 strokes.
I've done 8 laughs so far. It's been counting where it uses the microphone.
And 4 chortles. So I've been playing for like 9 hours so far, and I'm still only like 60 or 70% of the way through the game. It is absolutely excellent. I think as I mentioned last week, like you basically there's tons of these like various holes you can go in this like giant like laboratory, whatever you're in, and you can basically go in and do the hole and then move on. But I found like the places where the most creativity is and the biggest challenge is actually going back and doing the hole another 2 times. So once you do it the first time, you can move on. But when you go back a second time, and then you got to do 2 versions of that hole, those are when like the challenge really ramps up, or you might have to do the same thing but in less strokes or with more obstacles in the way. And yeah, some of them have been really, really difficult. Like I won't ruin all like the themes, but obviously it plays on a lot of like other games and stuff. A lot of which you've already seen. I mean, we've already mentioned. I think we mentioned it back in like Res, but it does like super hot stuff. Some of the super hot levels are really hard, but really, really satisfying. And yeah, this game, I think I tweeted last week, like just when you think this game has shown me everything, it does something, and I'm like, oh, that is amazing. And I, has that take like a step back, like that is brilliant. And he done it again tonight when I was playing it as well. Like this is stuff that I hadn't seen.
You have you played this, James?
No, I've not. This is another one I need to download.
Oh, you need to get on that because, like, I mean, I'm so happy to hear this because when we played it at Res, we thought this is fantastic. But I doubt it's got legs.
We've got a really great 60 seconds.
It's totally got legs.
But 9 hours in, and still enjoying it. And as I say, it still surprised me tonight. I was like, oh, this is amazing. And maybe it's because some people listening and whatnot may have like just seen streams of this and seen all the ideas, all the different themes and stuff it riffs on. But I hadn't, and I've still got loads to go. But yeah, it's even tonight. I'm like, oh, that is amazing. So yeah, absolutely loving it. I'm gonna basically keep going until I've finished it or 100%ed it or whatever I have to do.
I'm excited to play that. Definitely.
And I played and finished Gears 5 in the week as well.
Oh man, what was your final thoughts?
I thought it was excellent. I
really need to go back to it.
I thought it's definitely on there with one of the best games of the year for me. It looks absolutely stunning. I was constantly like amazed of how good it looked, constantly, and that's whether I was playing it on this monitor here, which is like goes up to 1440p if you play on Xbox One X, or playing on the 4K TV. It looks absolutely stunning. I mean, there's so many parts. I'm like, this just looks unbelievable. Yeah, so it looks amazing, sounds amazing. The gunplay and gameplay is brilliant. Normally in these sorts of games, in fact any sort of game, after you've been playing for a decent amount of time, when it gets to a stage, in particular, I've mentioned this in the past, but playing the games like the Uncharted series, and you're playing the game, and you go to a new area, and you see loads of like crates stacked up, like waist height. You're like, okay, I know what's going to happen now. I have to get into cover, but here I didn't have that fatigue at all. Like the gunplay was brilliant. It's so really fun combat throughout. And actually, I didn't even use one of the key parts until about halfway through the game. So you have this, you have Jack, which is like that sort of like flying robot thing with you, and he has loads of skills, or you two have skills basically together, which you can collect in the world, and also upgrade and stuff. And those are things like a shield, or Jack can like collect other guns on the battlefield. And there's loads of really awesome skills and stuff. But I really basically barely used him for the first until
Matt, why didn't you see? I mean, I was talking about it like after the first time I played. I used him constantly.
Yeah, I only really used him to pick up guns on the battlefield, but like none of the other stuff.
I was using him to like give me my shield and like flash enemies out of cover and stuff.
I basically I had like 60 or 70 of those components saved up. Wasn't really spending. Anyway, I started using it, and it is amazing. And like I was constantly changing that towards like this in the second half of the game, depending on scenario, and I won't go into all the detail of all the different skills, but there's so much. Okay, I'll use this one at the beginning, and then I'll use like electric shock to do this, and then I'll get a shield up. So I was constantly juggling the skills that Jack has, and that was another really, really welcome addition to the combat. But yeah, the gunplay felt solid. There's some guns I didn't like, but by the end I had my favourites, and the combat did not get boring. It was always satisfying, and I think the key thing, like I said, is I wasn't like, oh great, more combat. I was loving it, and it was really, really fun.
What about the open world stuff? That's been the biggest? Well, the only real complaint I've seen about that is that the open world stuff's boring.
I had no issues with it whatsoever. I think people calling it open world, I don't think it should be called open world really. I mean, it's open world in as much it's like it's not linear levels like you've dealt with in Gears, but it's basically like just a massive area to go to other levels, other missions. There's
like
nothing in the
a hub area.
Yeah. It's basically a giant hub area. Yeah, like there's nothing in the open world. It's just basically a massive area to travel, and like the skiff that you use, like this basically like the sailboat on skis, which you can use to go over the various like locations that you find yourself in. It's really, really fun to drive or to sail.
Is there combat in this area?
No, it's nothing. I'm so sorry. I mean, there's nothing in the open area, but in the open area, you can basically, there are locations to go to, and that's where you have like little side missions and combat within them. But no, in the area itself, there's nothing. There's a location towards the end that kind of changes, but it's basically nothing. Essentially, it's a hub area to go from level to level. Because I obviously heard about the open world Gears, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And people saying, well, it's quite bare bones. Like, it's not open world. It's just a hub area. But I really liked it. It was really fun to ride the skiff. It was just nice and satisfying to go from different areas. It's the open world in inverted commas maps are pretty small, so you can get from one end to the other really quickly. I rarely really intend in these games and other games to do all the side missions or to even really bother with side missions unless they're really good. But I found myself doing all of these because they were fun and they were short and they were that I wasn't getting killed over and over. So, and the bonus of doing these that by the end you often get like a new skill, you often get this. I think it's basically the ultimate skill. So in the skill tree and all the skills you get with just Jack, your robot, there are 3 things you can upgrade, and you upgrade it by collecting these things called components. in the game. But the fourth one, you basically have to collect this ultimate, and you do that by essentially finishing all the side missions. But they were satisfying. They were often just go into an area, kill everyone, or defend a point, but they were fun and they were short, and I was happy to do them. And yeah, I just think it's an excellent game. I can't wait for next Gears, and haven't said that in a long time. And I think I said on last week's pod, this puts way more pressure on 343 for the next Halo game. And I was playing this thinking, I actually don't know if I don't know if the next Halo game is going to live up to this. And that is saying a lot, because I've always loved Halo, and Gears has been good. I've loved playing Horde mode and stuff, but I've never classed myself as a Gears fan. But
this you usually say Gears guy then, didn't you?
I always say Gears guy, yeah. But this game, it plays so solid. It looks amazing. Great sound, like the story. Oh my god, I actually cared about the characters in the story.
Yeah, I was already getting into the story, and
even at the end of
stuff
Act 1, I think it is. Even that cutscene's really cool. But yeah, it's just like loads of it's a Gears game. People think they know what to expect, but the story is really good. And I'm not gonna say anything, but the story was excellent, and I can't wait to talk to you guys after once you finished it, because
Dave, how far are you in, Dave?
I'm on Act 2.
Yeah, me too.
So let's try co-op.
Yeah, we should do that actually.
Yeah, 100%. We should absolutely do that. I'm well up for co-op. If they fix the server issues now, then we'll be loving it, no doubt. But
the game probably took me. Actually, I thought it took me a lot longer, but there was an in-game clock, and it took me apparently 12 hours. It felt a bit longer than that, but I wasn't complaining. I was stuck on one boss for a long time because there's one boss was like instant death and stuff, but it's still a great boss to fight against. I was just bad at it. But yeah, excellent game. And as I just said, like the next Halo game is going to have to do an awful lot to nail all the bits of this game.
I don't know. I think they're going to change things up. They're certainly going to put a lot more effort, and I don't know. I can see Halo being just as good. I really
hope so. I mean, if it is, that'd be amazing. But this nails everything basically. And if the next Halo is up to this standard, then amazing. I mean, like I said, I've always loved Halo, never really been into Gears, but this is just, I thought it's excellent. I absolutely recommend it if you've got an Xbox, or it's on PC, right? I think as well.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, brilliant. Definitely one of the games of the year for me. I surprised myself how much I loved it.
All right, we'll smash that then, James.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, boy.
I'm playing Sekiro, but it's mostly the golf and Gears and now.
How did it go last night?
I struggled for ages, but I killed the mini boss. It wasn't even a proper boss. It was just it's just a mini boss. But I did some material counters, and that was satisfying. And I'm going to do some practicing in the week. It was a lot better this week than it was the previous week, because I watched a couple of Vati Vidya videos and changed the control slightly to make sense a little bit more. I'll get there, and I know it's an excellent game. I just right now I'm still in Bloodborne and I guess a bit Dark Souls mode. And this is obviously very different. I can't just be jumping around and so on and so forth. It's a very different game about stealth and about keeping on your enemy to get him killed. So I'm going to obviously keep going, and I'm excited to sort of learn the intricacies of the game, because it feels very, very different to the other FromSoft games I've played. But yeah, that's it. I'm mostly been playing Apple Arcade. I'm surprised myself now. I'm still playing it every single day. And with new games,
why does that surprise yourself?
Because when this got announced and we talked about it a few weeks ago, I'm like, well, I'm not going to be playing a mobile. It's just not a thing I do anymore. But yeah,
but they nailed it though, haven't they? Like in terms of there being so much content on there that's really worth playing, and that's the difference between this and what it looks like. I mean, I don't want to talk about Stadia again, but it's like But it is the fact that they've got like a compelling lineup of stuff here that's like new stuff as well that makes you definitely want to try it.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. I mean, because they could say, hey, all the games you've already played, now you can play them on Apple TV and iPad and phone. I was like, well,
yes, okay, we've spoken about Apple Arcade enough.
But yes, that's good. But the real thing is,
don't they?
The real thing... Well,
totally.
Yeah, but the real thing isn't the service, which works, and as James mentioned, it's the fact there is like unique, exclusive, good games that are just
games are decent
fun.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Very quickly, I went back to Shenmue 2 last night. I'm starting to get into it again. When you progress through that game, it's so much better than when you get stuck and it's like, oh, you got to earn all this money to progress. Yeah, so I got into it last night. Apparently, everyone in the chat was saying I was very, very near the end. So,
oh really?
See, I had a look,
Yeah, like
and I
one
don't
or two
think
streams.
you are. As in,
But there's everyone's going from memory, so I'm hearing all different things. There's not that much left to do in Kowloon apparently, and the final area is not that long at all. So,
well, yeah, it's not very, very long, but it's not like 15 minutes or whatever. You know,
no, but how many hours do you reckon I've got left to play?
19?
Probably, I'd say probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
Yeah.
pretty near the end, isn't it? Considering how many hours I've already put into it.
Yeah.
But I will get that game finished before Shenmue 3 comes out. Very
How many
exciting.
hours have you put into it? Does it have a counter, a clock?
No, but you can count up my streams, can't you?
I guess, yes. So
I
what
bet
are
it's
you
a
on?
lot. I bet it's more than what I put into Shenmue 1.
Yeah, well, definitely, yeah. It's
Even
much
though I
longer.
hit a massive game-breaking bug in Shenmue 1 for about 4 streams. I bet, yeah, I've put more time into Shenmue 2. I've also been playing Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
I'm looking forward to hearing about this.
Yes.
Haven't spent a ridiculous amount of time on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still very early on. What a strange game that is. I mean, okay, so basically it feels incredibly like The Division. Like, it really does. But I prefer the shooting in this. Like, the shooting in this feels way better than it does in The Division. And I think the scenery and stuff, all that looks better as well. So it just feels nicer to play than The Division. But it gets a lot of weird stuff. Firstly, what is Ghost Recon anymore? I mean, I know Wildlands changed things a lot, but do you remember Ghost Recon used to be a war simulator?
Yeah, Advanced Warfare.
It was very... No, even before then, when Advanced Warfighter was way more arcadey than, Island Thunder. The initial Ghost Recon games were deadly serious. They were... like that, those Armour games were okay. Armour was a lot more serious than Ghost Recon, yeah. I mean, you remember those first Ghost Recon games, James, where it was like
absolutely.
It was straightforward. Now these days, it's sort of losing its unique identity. Well, it's lost its unique
why,
identity because they didn't sell.
No, it's because the problem now I feel with Ubisoft stuff is that they're all basically the same game, just reskinned, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, this is very similar to The Division. Like, you do a story mission and then you end up in a hub world. It feels very much loot-based, and that loot system seems like a more simplified version of what they have in The Division, which is not a bad thing, by the way. The Division, I don't know how far you got into it, but there was a lot of okay, so that stat is higher, but that stat's lower. So overall, what's better to use? You're sort of doing the math to work out what the better item is.
That was awful.
It's just this is 7, this is 12, this one's better. And you just select that. The writing is some of the weirdest I think I've ever seen in a game. Like, initially I was thinking, this is quite a good story, I think. So the setup is, there's a tech company has moved its business out to this island, and they're building tech stuff. Like, they're primarily looking into drones, and when I say drones, I mean like Amazon drones rather than war drones or whatever. And then you get a report that a US submarine, I think it was sailing near. Is it sailing? It's not sailing, is it? What do submarines do?
Subbing.
No, that's what
Let's
we want
just say
people to do for this
sailing, it's
podcast,
fine.
Matt.
Twitch.tv/ computer game show.
Okay, was moving along underwater, submerging. What is that?
Cruising?
Cruising might work.
That's something completely different, James. You know that.
So the submarine was cruising. It probably wasn't even a submarine.
Cruising near the end of submarine.
Near the island, and it got blown up. And so you're part of this special operation to go to that island and find out what happened. And while you're over there on your helicopter, so a load of drones fly up and smash through your helicopter and crash it, and everyone dies. You're one of the lone survivors. And I'm thinking, this is quite interesting. I want to see how this tech corporation suddenly got involved in all this sort of stuff. And then you sort of end up in this cave, and there's all these people there, and they're trying to fight off this tech company.
In a cave?
It is a bit... No, they're like hiding in the cave, but they pop out every now and then to have a fight. I think that's how it works.
This sounds great.
But this is what this is the bit that really made me laugh, right? So the leader of this people in the cave, right, was like, "Listen, we're evacuating people. We've got some boats. They haven't detected them. We've got some boats, and we're evacuating people. But there's a long waiting list to get off this island, type thing." And you turn around and say, "Look, I know where the US Navy is. Let me on the boat. I'll take them there. They'll look after the civilians, and then we can come back with military support. I just need to go and contact them, right?" So the guy goes, "Okay, I'll tell you where the boats are. You do that, and then we're all good." So you walk out, and you get over there. You get to where you've been told. And there's like a father and a daughter, who I assume is a father and a daughter, waiting for the ship to come back, because it is just left with a load of people, waiting for the ship to get back so you can all board it and then go with them, right? But as it's floated away, the drones turn up again and fly through the ship and blow it up, right? And you can hear all the screams from the people that are on it. And like the dad turns around to you and goes, sort of like, "This means that no one can leave this island." And you're like, I mean,
does it?
You could probably work that out without explicitly like spelling it out. B, like, what a weird thing to say at that moment in time when loads of people are dead in front of you. And see, obviously that's a plot point that you wanted to get across, but you did it with a sledgehammer. Like, it was so weird. Yeah. And there's loads of that stuff. There's like so you're on this huge island, and the first place just outside, so you make your way to that cave, you walk out and there's just a helicopter there. So what I like about the Far Cry games and what they do well is that initially you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere and you've got to like essentially walk places, and then eventually you get into a car and you can drive places, and that extends your sort of scope of it. It feels like a discovery of this island. And eventually you build up to the fact, I mean, Far Cry 5 didn't do this that well, but eventually you build up to flying, and all of a sudden you're above the trees, and it's like a big moment. In this, it's like straight away you're like, you got a helicopter, that's fine. And when you fly a helicopter for the first time in a game, first of all you're like, I'll get used to the controls to see how realistic they're trying to make it. Well, in this, you just fly straight up and you fly off. Like, it's not like in Battlefield where you really struggle with the controls and the fucking helicopters all over the place. You're struggling to keep it straight and stuff. It's very arcadey. You get up and you fly somewhere. And then I'm thinking, but how arcadey is it? Like, so in GTA, you could essentially slam the down button and the fucking thing just slams into the ground and it's fine, and you get out and you can carry on. Well, did you see my tweet in the week?
No.
Right, so I put a video clip out of me playing Ghost Recon, and what happens, I got to the destination I was going to, and I thought, okay, let's test it. Let's see how crazy this is. I slammed down and the helicopter instantly exploded. So I went to myself,
see that. Yeah.
So I thought, okay, all right, so I can't do that. Fine. Hold on, it hasn't told me I'm dead yet. What happens if I press X? Oh, I just get out completely unharmed. Like, I still had full health. and then I walked a couple of steps away and then it properly exploded. And I was just like, what is this? What is it? Now, don't get me wrong. As I've said at the start there, I really am enjoying the gunplay, and it feels very Far Cry. It feels very, Metal Gear Solid. Highlight the people that you're attacking and work out a way of picking them off one by one. That's the sort of gameplay loop there with combat. I mean, occasionally you get moments where they all turn up and they're trying to kill you and stuff, and you got to deal with that. But very, very Far Cry, and the gunplay feels way better than it does in the Division, in my opinion, right? But you do kind of think like these games have been done a million times before, and I can't see what makes this any different to any of the others. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I can assume is that obviously Ghost Recon's a successful game, right? Wildlands was way worse than this, and it did pretty well, right?
Well, Wildlands was all right, Dave. Like, after they patched it a bunch,
fine. But I guarantee it's way worse than this, because the game that I played was okay. I had a lot of fun with it when it first came out, but ultimately it felt like a really hollow experience, and they might have added to that, which I don't doubt that they did, What I doubt is that it didn't look anywhere near as good as this, and the gunplay, they didn't change drastically, did they?
Can I ask though, is it? I mean, how is this technically though? Because all the videos I've seen is that this is a bit of a mess. Like, as in,
I've not seen any bugs.
Really?
And now, don't get me wrong, I've only played this for a few hours, so it's not like I've been playing intensely throughout the week, but I've not had any bugs. It's been totally fine. But then you should probably be wary of the fact that I am playing this on my own. So maybe when you're playing in co-op, bugs are more likely to appear. That wouldn't surprise me. Because it's definitely like when I'm in the hub area, I'm surrounded by other people. The moment I leave that area, it's not like people are flying around their environment, so it probably cuts off at that point. And if you're with someone, then they're in that game with you. But if not, then you're just flying around on your own. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's that. But yeah, it's one of those. It's if you liked Wildlands, then I think you'll really enjoy this. If you've got a group of people that will play this regularly, then I think you'll really get a lot out of it. But for me, at the moment, I'm playing this game on my own thinking, what is it? Like, what's the hook here? And I suppose for a lot of people, the hook is that it's a Ghost Recon game.
But none of the Ghost Recon games were really that great in single player anyway, were they? They've always been about getting together as a group and playing. That's always been the fun.
Yeah, no, totally agree. But I would like to play it with friends, but trying to find 5 of my friends or 3 of my friends or 2 of my friends or a mate to buy this game is going to be impossible. So I doubt I'll ever get to see it in its full glory. But
it is a shame, though, don't you think, though, that this is like that all of these, like the Ubisoft games are like all following like exactly the same kind of template and everything.
If they were different, if they were different enough within that template, I think they'd be okay. But I mean, it's hard for me to say because I really didn't get on with the Division 2. I found it so dull, and I find this way more fun to play. Yeah. It's just obviously the writing's way worse than it is in Division, and it wasn't great in the Division, to be fair.
No, you see, we were playing. I was playing the Division 2 with like people like for a couple of weeks, and we bounced off it now because it's not a good game. It's not a very interesting game.
It sends me to sleep.
Yeah,
it's boring. I mean, the funniest thing about the Division 2 is the cliche voice memos that you pick up. Like literally, it's there's moments where he goes, "Hey, have you heard that there's a big virus going around?" No, I've not heard that. That's a strange cough. Yeah. Yes, this virus makes people attack people. Oh yeah, no, that sounds awful. Are you sure, Sharon? Sharon, why you look at me like that? Ah! And then it cuts off, and you're just like, fucking hell, are they really doing that?
But also, that? Do you remember when we played it? Was it at Res we played
Sharon?
it? I don't remember. Or was it EGX? What? When we played it at Res or EGX, I can't remember.
Yeah, EGX. Yeah.
I have had no experiences that have been similar to that. Like, actually, when I was playing the main game, there was nothing that happened that was like that.
There was nothing that wide, like that open. It's all just, again, the same as the Division, where it was like corridor, open hallway, like open hall.
Yeah.
And corridor. It's like, what's going on here? Oh, bit where your abilities don't work. It was
also,
just all
like, ridiculous, like, bullet sponge enemies as well. Like, that was still going on.
Horrific.
And, like, the fact that the most lethal people in it were the people with batons that, like, just come and start...
just come up and then start battering you.
You can open, like, several clips into them and they don't die. And
did you complete it? Did you complete the main story?
No, we never even got that far.
I just fell short of it.
Yeah.
Because I got to the point where I just couldn't play anymore, because every time I booted it up, within 10 minutes I was falling asleep. And to be fair, it was when Charlie was born, so I was tired anyway, but my word. So Ghost Recon, I will try and play it with friends to give a better opinion of it. This certainly isn't a full review. I'm nowhere near having a proper opinion on it, but I mean, I didn't hate it when I was playing it. I just don't feel that I'm going to go back to it on my own, at least. Mm-hmm. But if I find someone that wants to play it, then we'll play it. But the other game that I've been playing, because there's been quite a substantial update to it, is, I know I've mentioned it a lot on bonus shows and on Twitter and stuff, but PokerStars VR on the Quest, I haven't really mentioned on here, and people will be rolling their eyes because it's one of those things that you're either into poker or you're not, and if you're not, it's like, who cares? But I am, and they've just added what they're calling spin and go tournaments. So if forget poker for a minute, right? Because if, as I say, if you're not into it, you're not into it, and I'm not going to try and convince you otherwise. But there are two types of playing poker, really. There's money tables where you just sit down, you keep buying in and betting, and you could end up like with a ridiculous amount of debt in your life. And then there's tournament play where you get a set amount of chips and that's it. And if you're out of chips, you're out of the game, and that's how it works. So the Quest version of PokerStars VR has only ever had the money tables. So you essentially could play forever, or and you can earn a ridiculous amount of money. But there's no, the amount of times people just come in and chuck all their chips in the middle, no matter what, it just ruins the game a little bit. With tournament, there's no point in doing that, because if you do that, you're out of the game and that's it. There's no real risk there. What's amazing is that clearly the Quest struggles to do tournament play. They've taken a lot of time to get this into PokerStars VR. So they've added this sort of like mini version of it. So instead of 6 players or 8 players, there's just 3 players, and you get a very small amount of chips. So it's games can be over in like tournaments usually take 2 to 3 hours, right? Certainly when we play in real life, but in this version, it's like 10 to 15 minute tournaments, and once you're out, you're out, and it's just flawless. Like, everything that game does is flawless, and we were getting frustrated with the lack of tournament play in it. So we were saying, well, there's this new poker game coming out in VR. How hard can it be to create a poker game? I can't remember what it was called, this other one, VR Poker or something. And its big push was, hey, we've created it just for Quest, so it's not all going to be buggy and shit. And we were like, oh, brilliant. Okay, let's download this. 5 minutes into it, we were like, yeah, let's just go back to PokerStars, because it's so well done by the company PokerStars that this really highlighted how good PokerStars VR is. Like, this other shitty game really highlighted how much they've nailed this. But what I'm getting to is that when you play in this tournament stuff, I've never felt so much tension like in VR or in most games that I play. Like, my heart's racing while I'm playing this, and I've entered 5 tournaments now. I've won 3 of them. I come second in one, and I finished last in the other one. And after I finished playing, my heart's still pounding for about half an hour afterwards. So wow. If you're anywhere near a VR headset, and unfortunately, it's not out on PS4, but I'm sure they'll do it at some point. They've got to, right? I mean, it just makes so much sense.
Yeah, I'm surprised that nothing's been announced for that yet. Because, it was EGX last year. We played this on Rift. You would have thought they would have said something up to now, but...
I think it's technically still in beta on Rift and Oculus,
Oh, right, okay, right. Well, maybe when they get closer to 1.0, that's when they'll release console versions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that they announce it at some point. But if you've even got a slight interest in poker, just watch a couple of starter videos on YouTube and download this game, because poker aside, it's just really funny anyway. The stuff that you can do in that game is hilarious, and the people that you meet that are playing it 9 times out of 10 are fucking hilarious throughout. There's some really funny stuff happening around the tables. But once you start getting into the game of poker, it's like, it's a really, really good way of playing poker. I'm passing on the headset soon to James, and I'm going to be absolutely gutted. I'll be counting down the days I get it back, because I'm just obsessed with it. It's just so much fun, and most nights, me and a few mates are around a table just mucking around playing poker with randoms. It's if this goes into full release mode by the end of the year, I don't know how I can't nominate it for Game of the Year. And I know it's getting nowhere in that, but for me, it's just been the most fun game to play this year. It's just been an incredible experience. So if you've even got a slight inkling, poker's not a hard game to learn. It seems really hard. It's not. Go onto YouTube, watch a couple of videos, and then just play around in this game. You'll get it. You'll pick it up. It's easy. I can't wait to teach you how to play, James, because you'll fucking love it, mate. It's well good.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay, that's it. Should we get to emails?
Sorry, I'll go on. Yeah, so you can join other mates on the same table, or do you have to have...
Yeah, totally.
Okay, but can I have it so it's just you and your mates on the table?
Yeah, you can have private games.
Okay,
but
cool.
we tend not to do that because it's not as fun. It's more fun where you're socialising with strangers for the first time. I mean, we don't do that in online games at all, but we exclusively do it on this game because, you know, you're just chatting and mucking about with them and laughing and chatting about the game that you're playing and questioning each other and winding each other up. And yeah, it's just really funny. There's a button in it that, if in certain situations there's a button that you could press and it flips your cards over and it shows your cards to the table.
Okay.
So like if you wanted to show a bluff or whatever, you can do that and all this. There was this one guy that did it by accident, and I was sitting next to him, so I saw what cards he had, and he was heads up with Chet, and he did it and then flipped them back, and I went, Chet just fold, he's got 2 pair, ace high. And he went, oh, was he? I said, yeah, he just showed his cards. And the guy just went ballistic at me. You shouldn't fucking do that, man. But what's amazing about it, because he's going ballistic at me, his character is actually standing up and in my face and pointing at me and stuff, which just makes it hilarious. It's so funny that you know that in real life he's standing up shouting at me
in his lounge,
in a different country. Yeah. And so I just started, I said, don't show your cards then, you fucking idiot. You didn't need to tell him. I said, he's my boy. If I see him, I'm going to tell him. And it was all just kicking off around this table. It was hilarious. And at one point, I sort of, like, after a little while, things had calmed down, and now I cracked open a beer. You can buy beers in that. I cracked open a bottle of beer, drank it, and he started in with me again, so I smashed it over his head. And it's just like, and you're looking around and people just pissing themselves around the table. You even know that the people that are on mute are laughing because you can see they're like, their avatars like shaking when they're laughing with his headset on. It's just, honestly, what a great experience socially and in terms of playing a game of poker. You can't beat it. Matt, will you join us one night? We're on it all the time.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the logistics. But yeah.
We'll work it out. We can definitely work it out.
I'm really excited for episode 2 of that Vader Immortal as well, which they've shown off stuff, so it can't be far away until that comes out as well.
When you get your Stadia, you'll get a Chromecast with it, right?
You do, yeah.
We're absolutely doing we do a poker night. Stream that. Because that's all you need, isn't it? A Chromecast?
I haven't looked into it since it came out, but probably. It might be easier these days, who knows?
We got to do it. It'd just be so much fun. It'd be so much fun. Let's do it. Right, okay, emails.
Let's go. Okay, Sean's not here, so I'll do the emails. If you want to email us, it's podcast@thecomputergameshow.com. We'll start with Brett Shipley. Hey lads, I've been listening for a long time now and never wrote in. But having just recently finished God of War, I can't believe how absolutely incredible that game was. It's only taken me almost a year. I just had to ask if any of you have played it and what did you think? I mean, I think we've all played it, haven't we, apart from Sean?
Yeah, I mean, if you've been listening to us for a long time, we nominated it last year, didn't we, for Game of the Year?
We did, yeah. It's a stunning game. I mean, like, it's still criminal. Sean hasn't played it, but
has he really not played it?
Well, no, his brother lent it to him, and he just didn't start it.
That is madness. No, it is an excellent game. I had some issues with, like, I loved the game. I didn't get into the end game. I wanted to get into the end game stuff, but didn't get into it because I wasn't a massive fan of getting about in that game.
When you say end game, do you mean like clearing up like all like the Valkyries and stuff?
Yeah, clearing up all the stuff, and there was loads of end game stuff. There was really hard enemies hidden away and stuff.
I just did the main storyline and that was it. Really.
Same here.
Yeah,
same here. Because I just getting from place to place in that game was just a real pain in the arse.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. If there was a better way of doing that, I may have like progressed because the combat was still awesome. Like if it was chucking the axe and stuff, it was still. Yeah. And I'd never played a God of War game before that, and I always saw them before. They just looked stupid, and there was a combat, but it was excellent, really, really satisfying. And Brett continues. The ending got me all amped up, and now have a million questions. And also, after seeing the secret ending, this has made the sequel to this game perhaps my most anticipated game of all time. You guys both obviously saw that as well, right?
No, what was it?
You went back to like the hut after you finished the game,
right? Yes. Yeah. I think I did do that. I'm pretty sure I did do that. I can't remember what happened.
And James, did you see that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did that.
I think I did that, but I can't remember.
Brett continues. Also, also being a dad with 2 kids, 2 and 6 months. My God, how do you ever find the time to play anything? I know you've touched this before, but I need more time to play. Basically, Brett, you need to lose sleep. That's the only way.
That's the way to do it.
Although when they get older, it is easier, obviously. So, I mean, 2 and 6 months, you are in the thick of it right now.
Yeah, I didn't do much gaming. You know how we always talk about that, the early stages where you play a game and stuff like that. I didn't really do much of that this time. I just watched the entire 2 series of Big Mouth on Netflix. That's what I did when I was sitting up with a baby every night.
But when you've got like another kid as well at the same time, it's worse, isn't it? Because you can't.
Yeah, I've got you.
Because you're dealing with when one of them isn't tired, the other one is, or whatever. It's annoying.
Yeah, and then you've also got the fact that you're way more tired than you were last time because you spent all day dealing with 2 kids rather than 1, and then you like even turning on a game seems like too much effort.
Yeah.
So yeah, Netflix was my saviour during those months. But you've just got to lose sleep, just not sleep.
That's the only way. That is the only way. We'll carry on. This gets a bit heavy, but I'm going to get it read. So I know this is a long one, and hopefully it doesn't get deleted. You're in luck, Brett. Thank you for making my time at work 100% more, I say 1,000% more enjoyable, and the streams to catch up on when I'm at home and I don't get a TV remote, EastEnders, etc. But most of all, thank you for the podcast in general for keeping me grounded after some rough points in life. First all to being 3 months premature, miscarriage, etc. I don't think it's mentioned enough the feeling of involvement and inclusion and intimate feeling of having something to enjoy and being able to relate to, especially people with similar interests such as yourselves. Thank you for being a friendship group I do and don't have. I don't know how to express this feeling, but thank you all truly. Well, thank you for listening, Brett, I think is our response.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And we can't say this enough. We've said it before, we'll say it again. We've all gone through some rough stuff recently. And, throughout doing the podcast, and we also use it as a crutch. And, I'm with you. I've spoken about it. I've been open about it on Twitter now. But we suffered as a similar situation where we had trouble with pregnancy in the past. There's no nice way of saying it. It's a horrible word, and but we went through that stuff, and it was the show that sort of helped me take my mind off it a little bit. And it helps me deal with some heavy subjects, and I've been on the other side of it this year. I've had some really horrible stuff go on with my family, and I wasn't on the show at the time, but knowing that I had that show as something to look forward to every week, like listening to you three do the show every week it's true though. I mean, I could turn it into a joke, but it was true. It's like, it's really funny how I slipped into that phase of Wednesday morning on the bus, on the way to work, worrying about life, worrying about other people in my life and what they're going through, and just hitting refresh on the podcast app, waiting for it to show up and stuff. Just so
you went from host to listener back to host
to proper listener. Yeah. It was and the only thing, I knew that I couldn't join in with the feedback, but the amount of times I wanted to tweet in and stuff would have been, I wanted to do that, but I just didn't think it would be the right thing to do.
You did it once, so I thought we were going to get some tweets, and I'm
no,
not
I wanted to not do that. It's just that's a bit cringe. Oh, we got a tweet from David Turner. I just thought,
I genuinely thought, this is what I don't think I said this to James, but I thought what you're going to do is you're going to start emailing under a pseudonym, a fake email address.
I considered doing that. Yeah. I absolutely considered doing that.
We've got Tim Simon here.
I'm disappointed you didn't, because I was hoping we were going to be a situation where you'd be David's written in again, like that, and then we could, and then deal with it. It would have been good.
Yeah. But the reason why I'm bringing that up, and I just that I think we're with you. You know what I mean? You're not on your own when you're going through horrible stuff, and the fact that this show is, we can relate to it because the show helps us as well as it does any listener out there that's going through a rough patch. But more importantly, it's incredibly nice to hear that people are getting stuff out of it that's helping with tough times. It's really nice to hear. So I hope things work out for you. I hope things pick up and life gets shit sometimes, man. So it's good to have, a common touchstone to help you through
just
it,
like radio, a lot of people would say radio is like company for them and so on, but podcasts are absolutely that and more, because I think arguably
for sure
podcasts you get much closer to like the people presenting.
Well, it's way more personal.
You
more
get in contact much better than like standard radio. But we've all used it for that, and I'm glad we can help in any small way, really. Let's get on to the next one. Lee Hennigan in New Zealand. I've listened to the show since Dave guested on Kane and Mix's Titanfall episode in 2016. One of the things that kept me coming back every week is getting stuck into a new release and then tuning in to see what you lot think about it. I honestly can't remember a AAA game coming out that doesn't at least get a brief bit of coverage on the show. But here we are, 3 weeks after the release of Borderlands 3, apparently the fastest selling 2K game of all time, and not the slightest sniff of a mention. I've piled about 50 hours into it already, and although it's pretty much more of the same, it's definitely one of the most engaging games I've played this year. The gunplay is amazing, and the constant hunt for that elusive, overpowered weapon never gets old. I know you're all busy, and you can't play every game that comes out, but come on, it's a bloody looter shooter. Considering
that's
how
why I
many
haven't played
hours... What's that, sorry?
I said that's why I haven't played it, because it's another looter shooter.
Okay, well, he touched on this. Considering how many hours you've spent discussing the 2-year-old Destiny 2 and the weekly updates on Anthem, which none of you are even playing, that's not true, because James was playing Anthem this week, but he failed to mention that, didn't you, James, in your what
I did, yeah. I've been playing Anthem, that's true.
He's been playing it, okay. It's a bit weird that this game is getting zero airtime. The only plausible explanation is that you're so disgusted with Randy Pitchford leaving a USB stick of, as he says, barely legal porn in a medieval-themed restaurant that you've decided on a complete TCGS boycott of the game. You owe us an explanation.
Should I just be completely open and honest about this?
Go on then. Yeah.
Okay, so none of us were really into Borderlands. I think Shawn played...
Yeah, I think he was into it a bit. He played the previous ones anyway.
None of us were really prepared to buy the game, because none of us are interested in it. And we've freely admitted in the past that we've got blind spots with certain games. Assassin's Creed, we don't really talk about that series that much. And there are a bunch of other games that sort of slip through our net. I think we do cover a wide amount of games between the four of us, but some just missed the mark. But we thought we would cover it, but they rejected us for code, which is fine. Don't get me wrong, that happens all the time. It's not a problem. It just means that none of us were really prepared to spend our own money on playing that game, because none of us are real big fans. And I always say that as well, is like, if you're a fan of the series and we don't talk about it, do you really want us to... I don't know. It's kind of like, well, maybe you do. Maybe you want to get our take on it. But I don't know. Yeah, we never had the means to cover it, really.
Yeah, I saw loads of coverages online.
Passion to.
I mentioned I listened to Kind of Funny stuff, and they were wanking about this game for fucking months.
Yeah, you listen to Kind of Funny.
Actually, the funny thing is, it's probably maybe it's subconscious, but I've basically barely listened to it in the last few months. I think you guys have basically killed my love for it. But at the time, they were wanking on about this game, and it's got all the ingredients of a game I should love, but. Yeah, it didn't do enough for me to actually want to pick it up.
It is just the finite amount of time and money in it to be able to do this. And I mean, I always have priorities of what I want to play, and that just wasn't on the list really. Cause...
Yeah, I know this is really, really bad, but like if this came out and it was like tens, then I'll be like, okay, I will just get it, because clearly it's like a stunning game, and even if I have no interest, it's a stunning game, so I will give it its time. But when I see games like this, and I'm not mega interested, and I see a review and it's like a 7 or an 8, I'm like, okay, well then I don't have to bother. Even though I have enjoyed and played lots of amazing 7s and 8s this year, I think if there's a game I'm not interested in, I'm like, okay, well I don't have to. Whereas if it was like it's a stunner, you have to play this, and I will push through and get it. But it wasn't that for me, and I just didn't really have much interest.
And I know we offer the best coverage for video games
undoubtedly
in the world, right? The problem is we have to keep reminding people that we're a fanzine, So, I know we seem really professional, and, Edge are like, oh, why can't we buy you? And we're like, we're not for sale. We're bigger than you, Edge. We are just 4 blokes with full-time jobs trying to put this together in an evening. So,
but what I will say is, if anyone from Edge is listening, we are open to offers. I mean, I will say that. I mean,
Edge couldn't afford us.
No, but maybe
kind of
Microsoft
probably could. It's.
Could you imagine that? Phil Spencer comes out at E3 next year. We've made some more purchases, guys. Crowd goes wild. We've purchased the computer game show. We've purchased the computer game show.
We kept the receipts.
We got, just in case we have to return it.
Yeah,
right.
30 days and that.
Do you reckon there must be a receipt of sorts for like the studios they've bought? It's got to be like, do you reckon it's like one of those printed out ones?
Definitely, yeah.
No,
it's really
not,
long.
is it?
It's got like all like.
That was such a shit thing to say. Sorry. Do you think it's one of those printed out ones that you get from the cart factory?
What's the deal with studios getting acquired?
What's your deal with it? Yeah, go on.
Hey,
next.
so like you go in like you're in a shop and you. I don't know what else was an impression of. Okay, Graham Allen.
When you go into a shop.
What? Whoa, you can't. We can't do that.
What?
Can you do accents anymore?
No, just move
did an
on.
accent.
Get on with it, man.
You just did an accent. Yes.
Oh, I see. I'm doing it so often I just don't even realise anymore. But we all felt worse. It's a shame because I bloody love an accent. Oh, okay, let's not get into this.
Get on with it. Get on with
we'll
it.
save this. Oh, it's 10 to 11. I do apologise, James. Okay. Maria Mendieta, dear TCGS socialites, congratulations on your consistently entertaining output. I just wanted to mention last week's list of games was impressive. It got me thinking about the breadth of genres your show covers and how its democratic approach seemed to somewhat contradict Dr. Farley's signature aversion to deck building games. I'll carry on. Dr. Farley, having championed the overlooked Wii U classic Paper Mario Color Splash as a 2016 GOTY candidate, would you delve into card games if it had a similar level of charisma? Is that what's kept you away from the genre? Would something like SteamWorld Quest be something that interested you?
Maybe. I mean, maybe. To be honest, I mean, I really enjoy Color Splash, but that was kind of in spite of the card game stuff, not because of it. Which was the problem, but I don't know. Maybe. If
is it a card game mechanics that you don't like? But
I just don't like it that much. But maybe it's just because I played the wrong things, or just it's my bias against them has stopped me from trying it. But I don't know. Maybe I should.
You bias? Never.
I'm not biased. I'm never biased for anything.
Oh, you're the most biased person in the world.
Rubbish.
You're certainly up there. You're in contention. But you're pretty bad with that stuff.
Cool. Graham Allen, I really want to email in and apologise if anyone was offended by our remark about the podcast being a little bit vanilla a couple of weeks ago. I meant no malice. I love the podcast and actually been subscribed since episode 18, but never had the confidence to email in. So when I heard the tweet I wrote over the podcast, I felt like a right dick. No, don't worry, Graham. It's part of the show.
Also, it was pretty vanilla without me. You were bang on.
I don't know. I mean,
were bang on.
Yeah, you weren't wrong. But let's move on. But a great show though, and I think we can all
agree.
Yeah, we can all agree. I do have a question. I'm hoping you can help me with. My fiance's gone back home to Brazil for a week, so I have a pass to finally game solidly after a long while. I managed to get a couple of hours a week in normally, having been working towards 100% completion of Red Dead Redemption 2, currently 95%. I may start to do Borderlands while she's away, but my question is, when was the point in all your relationships when your partner was fine with you putting in a real session? I hear you talk about all the games you've completed, and I wish I was able to start and complete more. Anyway, respect you all. Quality content every week. And that's from Graham Allen.
She's never been happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, she's really happy if she goes away for the weekend. But that's about it.
Yep, that's about it for me as well.
I understand, because, dad and husband and stuff, so it's...
Oh, yeah, totally, yeah. You don't want to sit and play video games all day, but... Yeah, no, Jo goes to bed early, so that's when I get my gaming done.
So does Chen.
She'll go to bed at like 9:30.
She'll just go to bed.
I'm on. Yep.
I mean, I've been up so late recently. It is stupid. I need to stop, but I just can't. But
I thought you were out of that.
Huh?
I thought you got away with that.
Well,
Like, I thought you stopped doing that shit.
Yeah, I know, but I've sort of got. I don't know. I guess I'm trying to finish all his games. And I was like up to like 3 o'clock in the morning. This is on a weekend actually, but like
3 o'clock.
I still want to get up like for like drum lessons, like 8 o'clock in the morning. I was like, what am I doing? I'm 36 years old. Like, why am I up till 3 in the morning?
You're getting up at 8 in the morning.
I don't know. So we had to leave the house at 8 o'clock in the morning.
So what time do you wake up? Like, say on a normal weekend?
Probably about 6:30, between 6:30 and 7. Elodie probably comes in our room, and then we go downstairs. I go downstairs.
You're like on 3 hours sleep.
Yes, it's stupid, and like I need to stop. Like on weekdays, I'm getting better. You know, I'll say average weekday go to bed time is go to bed. Yeah, is probably like between
sleep go to bed. Yeah,
well, you know what I mean. I'll say between 12 and 1:30 on a weekday.
Fucking
I know,
hell.
it's stupid. It's fucking stupid. And on weekends...
Yeah, me 12:30 is the latest on a weekday. The very latest on a weekday.
And then I still feel horrible the next day if I do that.
Yeah, no, usually it's 12. 12 o'clock is usually my bedtime, right? And then I'm usually waking up about 6:30, 6 o'clock maybe. No, it's more 6 o'clock than it is 6:30.
Yeah,
So we get about 6 hours sleep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky that Elodie is really, really good and that she doesn't wake up ridiculously early. But... I'm such a twat. I need to stop. But I've been like with I've been up way too late. I mean, like when I was trying to finish Control a few weekends ago, I was up like 10 to 4 in the morning. I was like, what am I doing?
What? Not on a weekday?
No. I wouldn't do that. No, that's just like Friday night or Saturday night.
So you're literally going to bed for 2 hours.
Oh, that's horrible.
And I'm just like,
yeah.
I know, it's insane. I'm going to die early. I know that. It's just ridiculous. And like we've covered this before, but the thing Jill and I argue about the most is about my lack of sleep. And I don't blame her, actually.
No shit.
It's insane.
Yeah, because I bet you're a fucking nightmare during the day. Just like, do you sleep on the sofa and shit?
Only if you've got like a film on. But no. Apart from that, I'm on. You know, because obviously I have a couple of coffees in the morning, and then I'm just I don't have the option of like sleeping in the day unless we have.
I've got this vision, Matt, of you just saying, I'm just going to go for a micro sleep, and then like sitting on a chair and just closing your eyes for like a minute or so and saying that's enough, and then just waking up.
I'll set my alarm for 26 seconds.
Yeah.
Micro sleep, but no, I don't. Although that's definitely probably the episode title. Anyway, let's get on to new things. Where were we? Oh yeah, real session. No, it doesn't happen anymore. But if she goes away like on a night, so she like goes out for the night or away for the night, which is rare. I was like, yeah, I can play from 7 o'clock in the afternoon. In the evening, it's great. But,
yeah, I have moments like that where Joel will say, "Oh, I'm going out. Why don't you go around your mum and dad's, or why don't you go, take the kids round here, or invite someone over or whatever?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'll just put them to bed and then play video games. That's fine. I don't need a dinner, so that saves me 45 minutes of cooking and eating, and
you don't need a dinner.
And I'll just get straight to the game." I haven't been eating dinner a lot recently.
All right, that's. I was gonna say that's bad, but like the way to do it is have a massive breakfast, small lunch, and then smaller dinner. 2
slices of toast for breakfast. That's all I'm having.
Oh really?
And a sandwich for lunch. Yeah,
and then no dinner.
No, not in situations like that. If I have like a pub lunch at work or whatever, I very rarely have a dinner because that's a pub lunch. That's like burger and chips and stuff.
Yeah, I want to talk about this on the Patreon show because it's boring for the real show. But I basically didn't eat for 1 week. I for full 7 days, I basically did it where the only meal I had each day was dinner. I had no breakfast, no lunch for 7 days.
What?
Yeah, we'll get into this another time. It's a
Why
weird
would
time.
you do that?
A weird time in my life because I wanted to see what can happen. And anyway, it's
what? That's just your Stadia logic. I want to see what happens.
I watched a couple of videos on.
Things are going to end badly for you. I can see it because you're just like, I just wanted to see what would happen. There's so many bad things that could happen.
I don't want to miss out on any experience, James. If it means doing crazy shit, I'll do it. But no, basically, I watched a couple of videos on fasting, and like the people on there, but it's like apparently it is good to do it every now and then to sort of clean your body out and stuff. But the people on those videos,
so apparently, according to who?
Just
on YouTube, Matt.
Some people watching YouTube and Instagram.
And just some bloke on YouTube. That's what you're putting your health into.
Yeah, so but basically on those, all they were having was water for the whole week, and I was at least having like teas, coffees, and water, and then I'm having dinner in the evenings. But they were having nothing for the entire week.
I think we should make it very clear that fasting is not healthy. So don't listen to Matt here. I'm just aware that people listen to this.
Well, yeah. Sorry. I mean, right. We should probably read out some disclaimer. I mean, just basically do your own research. Anyway, I've got lots more to say. But this is not the time and place.
Just get on YouTube. Have a look and see what you can.
Yeah, actually, I've got some quality links. Just hit me up on Twitter. Okay, that's it for emails. Let's move on to tweets and that. It's at Computer Game Pod on Twitter. Pietrick, PII313 on Twitter starts off. Can you explain what Control is to a 27-year-old colleague who only plays standard games like FIFA and COD? I couldn't find the right description without wanting to reference other games.
It's an average shooter. There you go.
Ooh. Well, yeah, but that doesn't describe it, James.
It's an average third-person shooter with a reasonable story. There you go. I
think that's harsh. But I also wouldn't compare it to COD or FIFA. Yeah, I mean, like, but if you talk to someone who doesn't play games, like third-person shooter, that's not going to help them either, is it? I wouldn't say.
Do you need to tell them the perspective?
No, probably not. Just say it's like it's a game where you shoot loads of things and it's got a really interesting story and you try and unravel the mystery.
Try and unravel a mystery. Did you unravel the mystery, James?
I did, yeah. Wasn't worth it.
He didn't care for the story, but I think it's excellent. All right. Athena Allen, listen, why have none of you scallywags played Apex again, the second best game of the year?
Because I haven't got... My mates don't play it. And, we got a bit tired of the old... Battle Royale thing. We really enjoyed the Blackout on COD, and really, so if we're going to be playing a Battle Royale game, it would be that.
Yeah, well, we
tried to get our mates into it, but it was only really me and John that wanted to play it.
Yeah, like I saw the trailer for season 3, I think it is, of Apex, and I don't play Apex, but that trailer looked awesome. But I don't really play the game. But we didn't even mention about the Call of Duty mobile game coming out, and that's had like 30 plus million downloads. It's gone crazy, isn't it?
Which is less than people have downloaded with Mario Kart, right? Wasn't that like 90 million?
No, it was that was 20 million, I think, after a couple of
months.
Right. It's gone up way since then, Matt. It's okay. Mario Kart.
Well, I don't know what Call of Duty's gone up since then, James. But either way, lots of people downloaded it, but we didn't really mention it, did we?
No, none of us have played it, but yeah, I'll probably give that a go. I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, I've heard good. Apex, it looks good, but just no, I haven't played it. There's lots of games.
You've not played it?
No, I haven't gone back to it after that first week.
Oh God, we played it for a good month or so.
Yeah, I got off even sooner than you guys did.
Yeah, our regular crew didn't take to it. So
yeah, I played way more Black Ops 4 or Blackout than Apex.
The Blackout was brilliant.
Ben Matt Scientologist on Twitter. How did Dr. James, I can't open this door Farley, ever complete Shenmue 2? Watching David's recent stream, I posed this question as some of the QTs in that game are actually quick/hard, unlike in Heavy Rain, and this is usually an issue James finds difficult to overcome. James.
Yeah, sorry. I was on mute and didn't realise I was on mute. I was just talking then for a couple
James, why are you muting?
Yeah. Well, do you want to hear me coughing, Matt? Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you pass out.
I'll do that in the future.
So did you hear the question?
Anyway, I started answering this already, but I'll answer it again because you couldn't hear me.
Yeah, it's probably best to do that then, isn't it?
I'm sure. See, I've talked about this before, but yeah, the QTEs in Shenmue 2 are ridiculous. And I remember towards the end, I played it by like writing down what it was going to be next, and like doing it by trial and error, and then just kept hammering the button until it came up. Because that bit, particularly where you're crossing those planks, was ridiculous, and I hated it.
Yeah, no, that was bad. But like, worse than that is the ones where it comes up with a full control on the screen.
Yeah.
And then it just flashes up left, right, circle, and then you've got to do it straight away, otherwise you foul. Yeah. And then you retry the whole fight. The one that I did, it was a whole fight sequence, and at the end it had one cutscene. And if you failed one QTE, and if you failed the QTE, you had to do the whole fight bit again. Mm-hmm. It was just like, this is awful.
Yeah,
awful.
The only way I had around that, as I said, was just writing down what the sequences were going to be, and then just like trial and error, and it was terrible. It's the one, and it's the same thing in Fahrenheit as well, where they did exactly the same thing, where they just like flash up really quickly, like what you're supposed to do, and it's just dreadful. Yeah. But also, it's different to like Heavy Rain, because the thing that was irritating with Heavy Rain, with that door that I was trying to get through, was the fact that you had to like, it was all motion controlled as well, which is horrible and weird and just nasty. And that was that was
the only person that has ever had a problem with opening that door.
Yeah, maybe I don't know.
Person on the planet. I bet even in playtests, no one ever struggled with that.
Well, it took a while, but either way, the ones in Shenmue 2 were dreadful. They are terrible.
But how did you do that? Oh, by just writing it down. Yeah. Okay, fine, that's an answer.
Yep. Yeah, that's an answer. Right, okay. Udazo Dim. I'm new to the Switch, and after buying a Switch Lite, what's each of your favourite games for the system? Okay, before we do this, because we've answered this question about a billion times, we're going to do it this way. So we have to answer super quick, and you can't repeat the one the person said beforehand, okay?
Are we taking it in turns, yeah?
Yeah, so
it goes Matt, James, me, go.
Yeah, Stardew Valley.
You're on mute again, James.
Oh, shit, I thought it was you next.
Matt, James, me.
All right, go on.
Start again, Matt.
Okay. Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Mario Odyssey.
You can't change it.
I can do what I want, mate. I'm starting again.
You got 2 now. You said Stardew Valley.
We'll start a new round.
No, it's just we're just doing it once. Just once. We've done this many times.
Doing it once, James. So you're on fucking.
No, we're doing it. We're doing it round. We keep going until one of us fails.
All right, go.
Zelda Breath of the Wild.
No, okay. Why are you not choosing Stardew Valley?
Right, okay. Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Fuck's sake! But we're still on round 1.
James,
go.
Matt, just start.
Valley. I fucking did start with Zelda. Stardew Valley.
Start again now. Go on.
Stardew Valley.
Breath of the Wild.
Heave ho.
Mario Odyssey.
Ape Out.
Tetris 99.
Octopath Traveler.
Splatoon 2.
Untitled Goose Game.
Minecraft.
Minecraft.
New Super Mario Brothers U.
Super Mario Maker 2.
Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Matt, you were just falling into there's so many better games than that.
Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
Mario Kart 8.
A Thumper.
Yoshi's Crafted World.
I'm done, I think. There were plenty more, but my brain's gone dead.
Yeah, there's loads.
So we'll leave it at that.
Okay. My Time in Portia. That's a great game.
Are we still going? Or is that...
Yeah, no, we'll keep going. As Six Squid at @6squid_games. Hello, TCGS team. With David back, the Cockney-related comments in full swing, and as I listen to older video gamer podcasts, I have to ask, David, the cabbie that will call in speaking to Molyneux was in fact your voice, right? If not, it's uncanny.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
It was,
yeah. Yeah, you used to ring, because it was an extension of something we did on Joypod. On Joypod, we did some fake adverts, didn't we? What was it? Bill's Independent Game Shop. We got all your games over. It was all that sort of stuff.
Great stuff. And
then when Joypod ended, I used to phone into the video gamer show pretending to be a cabbie. I used to, in my car, slam the doors and stuff and say, that was it. My favourite line was when I went, never guess who I had back of my cab last week, boys. I had that Major Nelson fella. Yeah, just like a cunt he was. That was it. That was good. And then... so I did that for a little while. It was just because I thought it was really funny. But what I find really strange, right? I've been podcasting for a long time. I've had more comments about my accent in the past 3 weeks than I have the whole time I've been podcasting. And for starters, I'm not Cockney. It's not a Cockney accent. That's East London. I'm South London. Right? It might all sound the same to you when you're outside of London, but South London boy. Don't you worry about that. It's just weird.
I guess it's just we've been speaking so prim and proper in your absence, and it's suddenly like, who the fuck is this boy?
Yeah, of course, yeah. What, Sean Bell?
I'm Sean Bell. Oh, I don't like that game. Can get guns in it.
Yeah, that's really prim and proper, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, yes. So to answer your question, yes, that was David. When the Video Gamer podcast was good. Thomas at Lamafla42. Shenmue 3 is due next month. They wouldn't delay it this close to release, or would they? What do you guys think?
No, they wouldn't.
There's no chance.
Definitely coming out.
No chance.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, James?
No, it's definitely coming. There's no way they can delay it at this stage.
How weird is that? Listen to yourself. Take yourself back a few years and clip that, and then send it back in time to then.
Not just that.
No, Shenmue's definitely coming out next month.
Yeah. But not just that.
What a
like,
crazy thing to
people
say.
are quite excited about it, given the demos and stuff. It's like,
demo did really well.
not only is it coming out,
really
it might actually be good. I'm very excited. We'll end with Andy Godwin at Big Cop Man on Twitter. With the live show around the corner, how does the podcasting dynamic change when you're all together in one room? Sorry, I had to do a burp then. I imagine James does V signs and wank signs whilst to Matt and Dave while shouting "fuck off" in his garage off mic.
That's my favourite thing about doing the talk over things that we do is because we can all see each other.
Yeah,
and it's just so funny watching James forget that he's on camera while we're recording, and I say a joke where I diss him, and he sort of rolls his eyes like he's. So now I know exactly what he does when I'm taking a piss out of him. He sits there, sort of rolls his eyes and looks up and does this, and sits back and folds his arms.
I didn't even notice that, but yeah. Okay.
And the dynamic doesn't really change, does it, when we're in the room together? Because we've done lots of podcasts in the same room. Yeah, no, it's pretty much the same.
Because we are professionals. And at least this time...
That's the one.
At least this time, all four of us are going to be there. Unless James has a last-minute, deal on a holiday.
Or Sean phones in sick.
Well, maybe that's it now. Maybe that's him. I'm ill
maybe
again.
Maybe Sean off
guys.
The show.
I can't, ever since the hosting and the emails got taken away.
Can we call it that? Maybe Sean off the show. Can we call this episode that?
What, maybe Sean off the show? Somebody downloads it.
Maybe Sean off the show.
Maybe it's quite a big one. It'll really wreck the Twitter, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, fuck it.
Maybe Sean off the show. Oh, that's
maybe Sean off the show. Right, okay, that's us for this week. Thank you so much for living it. But have we got else to say? EGX, we've been talking about that.
No, we haven't. Let's get into it.
It's fine. Everyone knows. No, everyone already knows.
No, you've got. The thing about marketing, you've got to keep telling people the same things. That's how it gets into their brain.
Before you start, goodbye, everyone. Thanks for listening. It's been great. We'll see you next week. Right, now you can do your bit because people are going to be turning off.
James, you're staying here. We're announcing streams and all sorts.
Yeah, go on. Bye, everyone.
James, you there?
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
Goodbye, guys.
No, again, right, so go. EGX, we're there on Saturday 19th of October, and we'd love it if you're there. If you're come to EGX, and if you haven't decided to come yet.
Loving it like that.
Anyway, 3 p.m. we're in the Fringe Theatre. You just need Saturday tickets to come see us. We'd love to see as many of you there. So please come down if you haven't already got tickets. That's EJ. Oh yeah, we've got to meet afterwards. And I still haven't got an email back about this pool about potentially the venue being the Fox XL Warehouse Bar being taken over by a publisher. So as of right now, it's still happening at that place at 7:00 on Saturday. Fingers crossed. Although I see what's going to happen. I'm going to get an email the day before saying, yeah, sorry, the venue's booked now.
Sweet lad,
so as of right now, the Fox XL Warehouse Bar, that's where the EGX meet is going to be straight after the live show. So please come down and see us. You don't need to EGX ticket to come to that venue. So even if you can't go EGX, but you want to say hi, please come down. We're up for having a chat and saying hello and a drink and all sorts of stuff. And they've got a menu.
I bring you flowers and pouring rain.
Streaming. Today is Wednesday. Nothing's on Wednesday because Sean now streams on Tuesdays. But this Friday, there's a new stream happening. It's James and myself. We're back to do a co-op stream after the rousing success of Alex Kidd and Miracle World. But we're streaming Man of Medan.
Craig David all over your...
It's a co-op horror game. Would you describe it as that, James? Or
yeah.
We're doing that 9 p.m. Friday night on Twitch. I don't kind of know how it's going to work because I think the idea is maybe you need to see both our things because we both see different parts of the story. Anyway, it's like a teen horror flick in a game where people are going to die, and I'm quite freaking out about it because it's probably going to scare me. That's me and James.
Down for the reload.
Friday night 9 p.m. and I'm back for Sekiro Sundays, Sunday night from 8:30. And Sean is obviously streaming FIFA Tuesday night from 9 p.m. That's all on Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, you also have Twitch Prime, and with that you get one free subscription every month to give away to whoever you want. wouldn't it be nice if you come over to our channel and gave it to us? You can't take it for yourself. You've got to give it away. And Amazon would hate that. They would hate it if you gave it away because they bank on you forgetting about it. But you've got one. So come over to our channel. If you give us a sub when we're streaming, we'll give a cheeky shout out as well. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS. And we've got a website, thecomputergameshow.com. We've got a store. And actually, from today being the 9th of...
Matt.
It's mental, isn't it?
James, do you want me to tell everyone about his things, or should we just not bother?
Ridiculous. This has been how long you've been talking. It's about 3 minutes. Like, it's insane.
It's less than that. Well, okay. Well, anyways, so we got a store basically from today, which is on the release date. It's the 9th. The store's 15% off all items. So if you want to get some items in time for EGX, if you want to fancy wearing a t-shirt when you're at EGX, or if you're not, whatever. We're around the house. 50% of items. I think there's like a code on the actual website to go to computergameshow.com/store to save for a few days until Sunday the 13th. So you haven't got long. And that's it for the last end bit. Thank you, both of you, for doing that.
Maybe we need to. We have to have like a Matt Murray horn to just stop him again. Right, that's enough now.
So stop the marketing. Stop the marketing.
We will catch you next week. Keep up your doodling. Keep up your doodling. Thanks for living it. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Say bye, Matt.
I don't want to say goodbye.
Why? Is it sad?
Yeah, I'm a bit sad, yeah. Bye.
Enter